now.
They'll do the job. Plus, you can learn new ones from downtimes.
Oh, no. Is there a new one?
I don't know.
You should.
Ask.
Oop, there we go. Yeah, you can both learn new ones in downtimes. You can also learn weapon specialization in downtimes and become ridiculous with that import.
That'll do.
That's okay, I was just waiting.
Yeah,
because we are live.
Yeah.
So, we're up to session number 96 in total, but season 1, episode 2 of phase 3, the Great War of the Setting. So, today we have, we'll start off with Ariadna.
Who's playing Caltrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings. Feeling... Pardon?
Hold on, I got you.
Oh, you forgot your name.
It's okay, I've got it written down.
Yeah, well, that helps. Who currently is a little bit more black-scaled in bits and pieces than she is white. And she's just hoping to survive this war, I think.
I was going to say, did we get the jazz wings?
She's over there at the moment. So,
okay.
Yes.
Here, I'll do
And
it.
did you roll a d10?
I have a d10 ready to roll. 3.
Okay, so that brings us to Paul.
Who is Claw, the dark-haired healer, warlock, elf, diplomat, elven clan leader, pretty boy, and occasional damage turret.
And what did you roll for your d10
I'm
today?
trying to find a d10. Oh, I think I put them in here. No, it's alright. I got a bunch.
Oh.
It was just in case you needed something straight away.
No, it's alright. It's. I had a bunch. It's just which container they were in.
I like this.
8.
You got an 8? Well, that'll be interesting. Okay,
I don't want to hear
that. Jeff, who's playing Lucius.
Thank you. Playing Lucius, a human from Karamithios, sorcerer. He's got the scales coming up. The scale coming up around his neck. I remember how he said that before. He's a like sheet of scales, red scales, I think they were.
Mm-hmm.
And
Got a necklace of scales?
no, it's sort of like the scaled skin coming up. It looks like a tattoo,
okay.
but it's not actually a tattoo.
Gotcha.
It's actually scales
Yep.
that he's got.
Come on.
And he's just good old boy.
Nice.
And he rolled a 10.
Well, that'll be even more interesting.
Yeah.
I hate it when GMs say that.
Okay, so that brings us to Jeremy.
I've rolled enough d10s to notice the trend now.
I'm playing Dracula, the Atruaghin tribesman who started out as a watchman, but has apparently been selected by Atruaghin himself for bigger and better things, and is now a shaman of the tribes and chieftain of the dragon tribe, and apparently selected as the general of the Darrican armies, possibly due to his ignorance about the god's wills, perhaps. And I rolled a 6.
You rolled a 6. Okay, so that then brings us to Kesley.
Alright, I am playing
You ready for tears?
Kupalaya Okai, goes by Lonnie, holder of many titles, Makai human fighter, is doing her best in this war to... She's really getting work out here, and, may or may not be getting to her at this stage, but you know what? She is looking fine.
You have to
That's
down
the
a
important
night
thing.
walker.
And
Pretty
so
impressed.
my roll is 10.
10.
I'm gonna die.
At least I'm pretty sure you were the night walker.
Yeah, I defeated the Nightwalker.
No confidence from that?
Oh,
You're
I
working
got
with
confidence from that
the
until we
100.
saw it later on. Whenever that happens, because it will happen eventually.
Yes. What was that, Jeremy?
Okay, Lonnie's actually connected with the other one that got 10, so you were 100 on the big percentile.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll be fine.
absolutely. I'm totally not gonna be dead. It's fine.
So, to bring the story into it, last session finished with you spending 24 days holding back the Master from the fort.
A little exhausting.
And you managed to get the defeat one of the Master's generals.
Woo.
But
It takes a little while.
not actually stop, just defeating battle, which is an achievement in itself.
Yeah.
And you ended up with 3 days grace.
Yeah, that was worth it.
Worth it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for
It was
the
totally worth
so
it.
after having 24 days of being absolutely smashed, you then got a surprise attack, and Calcrix ended up basically taking a hit to her dexterity.
Oh.
How did Calcrix get hurt that she basically felt like her ability to be agile and moving was damaged? Not permanently, just damaged for a time.
Yeah, restoration spells are for that. Exactly that.
Well, I would take it agility would mostly be based around her wings. Is that right?
She could have had her wings damaged and had to wait till magic could heal it properly.
Yep, well...
But it has left scars.
I'd say in her usual way of trying to protect those who are good, and that of course is everybody on her side and those who might be in danger. She took risks she should not take, and like she flew in to try and help Lani with the Nightwalker, she flew in and tried to help other members of the army with other similar large beasties, and one of them got her wing as she was trying to circle in and help out her team.
She was easy
Sounds
to the
like
gang.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so that happened on the 27th day of the month, of the third month.
Right.
So how's my dexterity changed again?
Your dexterity will have been fixed, but you'll now have permanent damage visible.
Okay.
Even though the effects of the damage have been healed,
Right.
Yeah.
the
There's a scar.
scarring
Okay.
there is permanent. So if your wings will show that you've protected someone and paid the price.
Can
Scars
it be
are cool.
that where the scars are, there's now black?
It can be, yes.
Thing. Unless, of course, the unknown Bahamut helped her heal them, in which case they'd be blue. She's quite good with blue.
Well, it's quite visible that that is different from the rest of you.
Yep.
Okay, then 8 days later, during another skirmish, Llewell lost his sanity for a time.
Oh no.
What happened?
I dodged the wrong way at one point and had a ghost go through my head.
So a ghost
And
took
I-
up residence in your head for a while?
No, I think it just possibly, maybe. I think it just went straight through and just deranged me for a bit.
And
May
basically you might not have noticed a couple of days pass until people fixed you.
And then told me what I had been doing during that time, at which point I had to go and apologise.
And your perception was it went straight through your head because you have no indication of how long it was in there for.
Yes, because it went in, and then 2 days later it came out, and I only saw the 2 bits on the in and out. Yeah. So
Right.
many apologies to people.
Okay, noting that down on here. Okay, so then it took another 10 days past before another major incident happened, and Lucius lost his soul. So how did Lucius lose his soul?
He traded it.
No,
You cynic, you!
Alright.
that's my
nice
soul.
place.
Get it back, or is it gone?
That's up to you.
It can be
Some
recovered.
undead or something.
No, if your physical body dies, that's it. If you have no soul,
Don't die.
your body can't come back unless you've still got a soul.
It was taken by a. Is it what takes souls?
A lot of things take souls.
Soul walk.
Yeah.
The Night Walkers basically consume souls.
No.
Yeah, you don't want that. But
You
yeah,
don't want that one.
some sort of undead grabbed you and you felt something go. Ugh.
Yeah.
And the Master powers most of his golems via souls that he's stolen. So you could technically be in two places at once.
Yeah. And then
Did you get it back?
I got it back.
We fought this creature that
Yeah,
took
we
it,
tracked it down and got it back.
and we had a cleric of some kind put it back on, like sewing Peter Pan's shadow back on.
Yep.
How long did it take to get your soul back?
2 days.
Okay.
Right, so it was actually his soul that ended up going through my head.
There you go.
Well, that was a long time past. So it
Oh
took-
no, true. The dates were different.
The dates are different.
Unfortunately, the dates don't line up. For
I know,
nice
but
clever-
it's still amusing.
It's still
Yeah.
amusing.
Would be funny.
Maybe,
So, yes.
maybe somebody else happened to it.
Yeah.
Then Jeremy.
What happened to him?
It was 6 days after that, on the 23rd of the 4th month. Your character took a hit to his wisdom. How did that happen? Which is actually quite amusing for a cleric.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Got drunk.
Well, despite the fact that he is the code of the clan and is working hard to develop and improve his capabilities in that manner and calling upon the powers of Atruaghin to assist him in this fight. However, Atruaghin, not surprisingly, is somewhat occupied at the moment protecting the plateau itself. And so, on one occasion, during one of the particularly difficult battles, as we're approaching the dawn and other resources were all low, Dracima pushed his connection with the Atruaghin too far and effectively drew the power from himself since the Atruaghin could not provide. And left his ability to connect that power weakened and also gave him quite a headache.
Okay. That is fair. And then that brings us up to Lani the Undying.
Did she die?
No, she lost her soul as well.
Oh.
How did she lose it, and did she get it back?
Or did he die?
Okay.
Surprise! I've got a whole
So-
new character.
Alright.
After working this one?
I would say she lost her soul probably to a golem as well. Something similar.
We could have lost it at the same time.
Something similar.
Well,
to
it was a
Lucius.
long time after.
Um,
So that happened in the game sense. It was the 5th day of the 5th month, so almost a whole month after you lost yours.
Yeah, so I would say just like, even though Lonnie knew that this was something that could happen, it seems that this seems to be a common thing that happens when fighting against golems. And Lonnie was doing her best to be careful, but then ended up losing her soul to one of the golems, and so the party had to track down the golem, much like we did for Lucius. And I would say she did get it back after 4 days. It was
We patched it.
harder this time.
We had to patch it up first,
Yeah.
which is a bit scary.
Okay, so to recap that for you, last session ended on the 24th of the 3rd month, after you had stopped the Night Walker as he tried to mince you for standing up to the army of the Master.
Mm-hmm.
You had 3 days grace, in which case the Master then attacked through surprise and deceit. Basically attacked at a time where he'd never attacked before.
Mm-hmm.
and Calcrix came to the rescue of you, but managed to take a crippling blow to her wings that then required time to heal. And then on the 7th of the 4th month, Llewell got something that got into his head and completely screwed with his sanity. So does Llewell now have a trigger from having his head messed with?
Do you go around going, I ain't afraid of no ghost, and then twitch? Sorry.
I like that.
I think trigger. I don't know what it is yet.
That's a fair point.
If it's being in the midst of battle, it would be bad.
You could let Martin decide.
Are you an gatekeeper?
I would far prefer to do my own.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, amnesia is one of the worst things to take in my games.
Yes. Let the GM do it. No!
No,
Fail.
it's-
Bad move.
I've
Okay.
seen 1 or 2 times where a GM will just go, your trigger hits you now. And you roll a saving die.
You can
Yeah.
decide later in the story, this is my trigger. And
That's sort of what I
have
was working on.
and have that work on that for there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you do have occasions where you have lost time here and there. You're sure it's got nothing to do with the fact that you had something in your head for a while. You think they got it out, but you're not quite sure.
Why does this
I
sound so familiar?
need to work some stuff.
He probably just been hanging around with Drazel too much and slipping through time.
Yeah.
Actually, having Drazel inspect my head would probably be useful.
And the unfortunate thing was the master didn't send the ghost.
Oh.
Atruaghin did.
Oh.
Ooh. Wait, no. Ooh.
Did you accidentally go into the forest?
No.
I think maybe you got a little close there, bud.
No, I think I do know that I actually fired into the forest in one of the attacks that I did at one point. So
That might be a true.
it may be him being pissed off about that.
Just being like,
A lot of the Atruaghins do
triggering.
not have what they call senses of humour when they believe they've been dissed in any way.
yeah. So just
Or-
be like,
or-
watch
or
where
we-
you're aiming.
You've met.
Well,
Like
remember?
I say, you've met a
No, no.
Dragon, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was quite nice to me at the time. However, when I was shooting or firing shots at running goblins with potions built, undead goblins with potions built into them, or possibly even live ones with potions built in them, and I was specifically aiming at ones that glowed a particular way because I was spell aided by somebody else. With True Sight, I was hitting the ones that exploded, and they were running along the tree line. I was accidentally blowing up trees.
And so, from everyone else's perspective, for the whole time Llewell was possessed, he was like the ultimate warrior. He
Not the WWE champion,
Oh,
but
good.
on the battle.
Oh no!
I know.
Literally,
It's just-
imagine
Yeah.
a wrestler who could use almost any weapon you can imagine, but other people is his best weapon, and basically able to mince the enemy and walk through no matter how many blows he took.
Yes.
And so you've got quite a few scars you don't recognise.
Don't worry, they don't make you less pretty. It's okay.
Yeah, keep these guys.
That's what Lonnie's gonna say. Makes you look better.
In some tribes, it makes you more pretty.
I know. Not in elves, though, generally.
No, generally not.
No, elves
Hey,
like
you're
you.
doing it right, Wes.
So, yes. So, basically, for 2 days, I was a barbarian.
But actually,
Hard to tell if it was a barbarian, a ranger, a warrior, a rogue, or something like that. But you were absolutely amazing on the battlefield.
you were everything you needed to be.
You were possessed by the spirits of Atruaghin times.
Or possibly true again. That would be amusing.
And a
And
bit scary.
on the
Actually, it would be
17th,
appropriate. It was actually... no, actually, yeah. A Truagon or one of his servitors actually did it. It wasn't a ghost. It was a god spirit.
well, the ghosts of the ancestors really are
Basically the same thing.
same thing.
Yeah.
So the
Sure.
then on the 17th of the 4th month, Lucius had his soul ripped from his body in the middle of a battle. And you spent 2
Sounds
days
like fun.
tracking down the creature that did so.
It was a little bit miraculous we were able to do it.
Ripped its head off and sucked the soul back out of its skull.
Have a straw for that.
Yes.
I feel like that should be your byline now. I have a straw.
And so, has Lucius developed any tics or worries about stuff since you've seen what it's like to not have a soul? So for two whole days, your body was pretty much unfeeling. You could not even feel the taste of food or needs or.
Lucius is,
people had to remind you to breathe.
Having nice food. You always have to have something sweet when he eats, isn't it? Just to remember, so he can taste.
Is she living vicariously?
Because you had 2 days of absolutely no sensation whatsoever.
So he's always going to have something super sweet.
So bland food is right out.
And like all hot, spicy food.
So in a way, you felt what it was like to be undead.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Don't recommend it. Oh, fast forward a month.
0
So
stars.
one weird thing you did find is you could taste blood.
Oh. Yeah.
Undead.
Most undead can't taste blood.
Oh, can't they?
Yeah, vampires can.
No.
And dampiers and so on.
Yeah. I'm just waiting now for him to turn me into a vampire.
What did you roll?
I'll make some notes down for that
10.
then.
So you must have rolled a 10 as well.
I did.
Okay, so on the 23rd of the 4th month, Dracnomir tried to call on the power of Atruaghin in the middle of a battlefield, and nothing happened. Except that he seemed to age about 10 years.
Is that like Go-Go Gadget and then it not happening?
Yeah. Well, sort of like that. And after he aged about 10 years, then the effect happened.
Right.
But after some rest, he's managed to recover some of that lost
I was going to say, so now he's
vitality.
a really old man
Yes.
in terms of his people.
One of the points, he still looks old, and that's why he's now wiser, or at least as wise as he was.
Right. Well, he's wiser now. He's not doing that
I'm going
again.
to keep my lucky.
Was that a fail on a soul burn check?
It was the equivalent of doing something like that because he has the ability to stop those ripping souls out of other bodies.
Yeah.
My phone.
And he'll also have the ability to reintegrate the soul into a body that's had it stolen.
Cool. Good
And
thing we've had some practice doing that.
and you have found out that necromancers can control bodies without souls.
Mm.
Makes sense.
So they treat them as undead.
Mm. Yeah.
Your phone's paging you, I think.
No.
He's paging his phone.
Did you put it in here? What's right there?
You've got the chair of stealing. Okay.
Yeah, I was panicking because I knew I had it here.
It took Dracnomir some time to recover from that 10 years of aging, because once he got his vitality back, he doesn't look as old, but does he have any grey hairs left over from that, Jeremy?
He still looks older. Yeah. You did say you still look a bit older.
Sorry, I was get to the middle of a speech.
Okay.
I'm working on the idea that, Dracula has apparently aged 10 years, and that's been a apparent permanent effect.
Okay, we'll make it a permanent effect then. So you have aged 10 years from overcasting.
Yep, so I don't want you to know until the character.
Or at least visibly 10. It's actually 5. Something like that.
Well, there's enough problematics with Dracula's age, with the amount of time he's lost or gained at various time travel things.
All over the place.
You can't tell anyway.
It's moved around a lot.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's Dressel.
Or possibly Basil's boss. Now he's kicked as a dragon child.
And then on the 5th day of the 5th month, Lani managed to go toe-to-toe with one of the golems of the Master. As you saw it, you haven't seen many of the golems on the battlefield.
Mm.
They're generally the equivalent of siege machines. So almost think of them like the dreadnoughts you would in Warhammer 40k.
No, I know what golems are like.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, as in massive compared to the normal
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
Most everything else, yeah.
So,
Not really done a lot with wood.
so,
Well, 40K.
so imagine this is like the normal person, and then that would be the golem
Yeah.
in scale wise.
No big deal, Zulani.
And you faced that.
And that's what happened, and she got maybe just a little too... wasn't paying attention enough.
And turns out that the golems are able to harvest souls as well, which you didn't know until that stage. You'd only seen the undead do it.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, he does use sort of...
He doesn't send most of his golems into battle because he's been holding them back because
They-
they are harder to build.
Yeah. They
Because-
they take time.
And they generally need decent level souls to power them. Turned out Lonnie was perfect.
To be honest, though, I bet the master would really like to have me on his side.
And for
He'd
a
love to have
while,
all of it.
Lonnie was seeing things in duplicate. She was actually in one of the golems.
Crazy.
And it was the equivalent of you couldn't control your actions as you were beating up your friends. You got to see you were beating yourself up while beating up your friends.
Yep. Makes sense.
So it was quite a split personality moment for you.
A little bit. Crazy time. And so, I think that was part of the hard part. It was like, we've been through this before, but now we have to track this down, and we're a little bit more battle weary, so 4 days later.
And you ended up having to go up against something far more powerful than anything you'd faced previously. Because it was powered by you.
I'm just saying. Yeah, no, makes sense.
So they're going up against the Battle Master at the same time of trying to take down something with the golem abilities. And you just saw how nasty the golems are on the Master's side.
Yeah.
And you expect that they're more of a late game addition for him.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
When he's only getting rid of his cannon fodder at this stage.
Yeah.
And so it took 4 days to get that back. You've just gotten back into your body. It's now the 9th day of the 5th month. And how does Lani, deal with things now that you've had 4 whole days of no sensation whatsoever, except for what you felt as being a golem beating up on people you're supposed to be defending?
So, Lonnie was already pretty jovial to begin with, but is even more boisterous than before. And, previously where she would, walk up to her comrades and give them, a nice little slap on the back, just to be like, hey, yeah, how nice to see you, that kind of thing. She's now, even though louder, a lot more gentle with people around her and not moving as much. So that little personality thing where it's definitely loud, but in her own space. She doesn't go into others' personal space as much.
And you have this horrific scar on your back in the shape of a skull, where your soul had been pulled out.
I could fix that for you. Don't do fucking it. Don't do fucking
100% I'm keeping it.
Well, magic can't get rid of it.
See, there you go. Does it mess up any I don't think Lonnie has any tattoos on her back. She has a couple arm and leg tattoos.
But that's where the golem extracted your soul from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you could get a tattooist to highlight it.
100%. I actually would really say. Not gonna lie. So, hold on. I have to come up with a whole nother title for this. So, Soul Returner,
Wandering Soul.
Golem Master?
Golem Rider.
I like that one. Golem Rider.
Golem Rider,
Contra.
Jägermaster.
Soul Wanderer. Let's come up with a couple more titles.
Wandering Soul.
The Wandering Soul. Lonnie the Wandering Soul.
Yes.
There you go. You got at
Sounds
least
great.
3 good ones in there.
Exactly.
Keep them all, you might end up using them.
I know.
Okay, so it's taken its toll on you for the last... Well, it's been more than a month since you defeated the Nightwalker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I just need to bring up where you are. Think. Okay, Darken. I do love my shortcuts.
I was gonna ask, like, looking at the mariner's armor, the shark skin armor, all that stuff. Is that a leather armor or a hide armor?
It should say on there, hopefully.
Just double
Let me have a
checking.
quick look for you.
Yeah.
Magical items, it's actually made it on there.
Yeah, because, like, I liked what you added on there for sure. That was the one thing I couldn't tell.
It was the Mariner's armor.
I was looking at that earlier, but it was before you updated things.
Yeah, so the shark, like, this is the new one
Okay.
you updated. It's really cool, actually.
Actually, it's down as leather brigadine.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Brigadine. So that's basically a medium armor that used to be a light armor in
Just like
5th edition, but they've moved it over. They've moved leathers with metal attached to it
Yeah.
into medium armor.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, although, well, leather brigadine.
It's basically what used to be called studded leather.
Oh, you
Yeah, it's
already
leather with
know-
leather bits, but it's basically the constructed equivalent to hide.
Makes sense.
Though hiding the rules have different aspects.
Yeah.
And this is just what that is.
Yeah.
But it's made. At this case, it's made out of shark skin,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
which I thought would be something you would appreciate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was actually how the original one was written up.
Mm.
It's just that I changed the name to make it obvious.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the leaves that Emerald is.
Yeah.
Yes, using megalodon skin scoots instead of the metal in the brigandine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is the ninth
So
day
it's
of
basically just megalodon skin.
No, it's back.
yeah, it's the ninth day of the 5th month. You
Mhm.
are in Fort Ainsbury, on the edge of the river that goes into the Atruaghin lands.
Mm-hmm.
The master has not been able to cross the river. The water has made a stopping point for him. His
Mhm.
forces control the western side of that lake from that river point all the way to the top.
Right.
Right.
So when you look at, where is my mouse? So you look all the way up here, there's another river up here. That's where the master's currently assaulting as well. So he's gone all the way around here, attacking that fort,
Mm-hmm.
and he's basically been held at that river crossing.
Okay, so he's advanced,
And you
but
can't-
we've been holding him.
And you can't go around it because you can't get into the Atruaghin lands because
Dude, it's protected there.
The Atruaghin have gathered en masse in the forest there,
Mhm.
and have basically made anyone who's not a Atruaghin who crosses their border pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
As far as they're concerned, anyone who crosses has requested battle.
Mm.
And will lose.
And you have heard that for the first time in the history of the Atruaghin, all the Atruaghin clans have come together.
So tiger, elk.
Yeah. Given
All
tiger's
the-
a scary one.
Up until now, only one clan or 2 or 3 clans have ever come together at one time for their what they call their traditional games, where they basically beat each other up for marriage and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
Never in their history have all 5 clans gathered as a whole together. It's never happened since even in the inception of the Atruaghin, that never happened.
It's crazy.
And their calendar does not go beyond this point.
That makes things a little bit more than interesting.
No wonder Jack didn't got old. He's got to die because he hasn't got any time left to do it for the race.
Well, the calendar had been completely based around all the different clans and how they interacted with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the year was based on which clans were participating in what parts. So
Yeah.
that was how they declared their years.
Mm.
And the final year of their calendar was all the clans. which means that after this point, time is different as far as the Atruaghin are concerned.
Mm.
This was what they had been building up to.
We're in a new world.
Makes sense. New era.
And it's also one of the most feared things of the Darrakan people.
Mm.
Mm.
Because the Tiger Clan has been a threat to the Atruaghin, to the Darrakan people for as long as they've been around.
Mm.
Which is a hell of a job for one tribe.
Mm-hmm. And now all 5 tribes sit on the same table.
Crazy.
In a big table.
Mm.
At this stage.
Technically, it's as big as they want it to be. They have a plateau that they can call their table. They can fit the entire tribes on that plateau.
This is
And
why we call it a mesa.
I'm guessing
which means
that,
in Spanish.
Dracula has been dividing some of his time between leading this defence as a general of the Darrakan army and also being up there with the tribes, keeping track of their progress and the interactions between the tribes.
Well, he's been getting messengers from the tribes because they're more than happy to leave their lands. They just don't want anyone else to enter. And in your absence, you're being voted Chief of Chiefs.
Yeah. Hi, boss.
Is anybody objecting to me being Chief of Chief?
We're not allowed to.
Cool.
We're not allowed to. He's the
Yeah.
Chief of Chiefs.
Because all the other chiefs objected to being called Chief of Chief or wanted it too much.
That's valid.
That's how it felt to him.
Or I was Dracula was the one who was the least objectionable.
You're the first one to say, "Oh, the power," or to not say, "Oh, the power."
Well,
Well,
the
but
Tiger
also
tribe
the-
wanted to lead.
Of course,
He
it's Tiger Tribe.
wasn't the one that everyone hated enough to ensure that they couldn't be done.
Yeah, that's also true.
And scarily enough, you find out that the Tiger tribe also voted for Drachnamir.
That's
And he's the only chief that got a vote from all 5 chiefs.
Okay.
It required a unanimous vote, and it's taken 2 months of voting for them to get a unanimous vote.
Okay,
So
no wonder-
you're
no
least
wonder
objectionable.
Dracula
Yeah.
was busy.
Yeah. You're the one who's not been. You're the one who's not been around, so they
I was
don't
gonna
know of
say,
any
in your
political
absence,
problems
you're the
about
best
you.
leader they
Exactly,
can
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm the one they can all claim. Oh yeah. Chief of Chief told me to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I'm not around.
exactly.
And it's also helped that because he's also considered a chief, his clan is the biggest clan.
Yes. When they realise exactly how many Dragonborn there are, they think, oh yeah, hang on, he's got some power behind it.
Yes.
Makes sense.
And his clan basically keeps them safe. Because the whole plateau underneath is the Dragon clan.
Yeah.
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 And to be spread out on that too.
They are spread out in other places, but under the plateau is where they declare it the Dragon clan.
Yes.
And as such, as leader of the Dragon clan, the penalty of using metals has been removed.
Okay. So
That's
it's
interesting, considering
so
shutting
it's-
them up.
right. So it's,
Temporarily suspended.
well, it's no longer a religious restriction. It's now only cultural.
It was always a cultural restriction to the
Yeah.
peoples of the Atruaghin because it related to the dictates of their god. But
Yeah. Well,
being the
that's
Dragon
thing.
clan, metals is part of their religion.
Yes. Some of them eat it. Well, that's the thing. It's a cultural thing that had a very strong religious element. And yeah, because the Dragon clan, it's sort of, we can do that.
The Dragon clan from the start used metal as a base.
Yes, that's a point. Question I wanted to ask you. The armor that I've got, which is got the pearl insignia on it,
Should be up there.
is that one of Drazel's gifts?
I don't believe it was. I believe you found it in the Black Dragon hatchery.
Yes, no, that sounds right.
Because that's where my notes
Yeah.
down from.
Yeah, Yes, I'm going to be getting it remade anyway. Or getting a new set made and someone else can have this one. Because the secondary effect on 3 of my items I think are a really bad idea and I want to give them up.
Not everything is perfect.
No. But yeah, going into, say, serious negotiations with 2 items that say, everything is wonderful and you're having a great day. No.
That sounds good.
No, I'm wearing
You are-
magic items that mean I'm not in my straight mind.
No, but that's okay. They're an important part of your negotiation technique. You provide a gift to the opponent. Everything's wonderful.
Here, have this item.
Now let's talk.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, you're finding yourself standing at the fortifications of Fort S1E02. It is quite an impressive set of fortifications. You do have 2 main legions of troops and a legion of mounted riders.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that on the other side of the lake look to be about 20 odd legions of undead.
Right.
And you've just got the crossing that you're protecting being the only thing stopping them from running through Daraka itself.
How wide is the crossing?
The crossing is a good enough for 1 or 2 wagons to cross at once. The reason it's 1 or 2 is there are times only 1 can cross with difficulty, and there are times where 2 can cross easily side by
There's a narrow
side.
point where we can hold it.
That's the though it's also possible for undead to walk through the water because they don't have to breathe, no
Yeah.
matter how deep it is.
So like
Oh, this is
all
where I did the
first
cloaking
Pirates of the
splits.
Caribbean.
Yes, exactly.
That's kind of cool.
Fortunately,
And-
there are some that can't cross running water, no matter how they try.
Which is the more powerful ones generally get done with that because of the links to time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with all the elements at play here, the forests have withheld the undead because the undead don't like to walk too much in the sphere of matter, and
Yeah.
Atruaghin's lands are dedicated to matter.
Yeah, particularly the life aspect of matter, which is really messing them up.
And with the river coming out of it and heading into the Great Lake, and the Great Lake itself being demon infested.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
And
Martin?
yep.
Something else just occurred to me. I think. When the clans were meeting to elect chief of chiefs, the 5 clans,
Yep.
did they also effectively recognise the dragon tribe as a clan in its own right? With
They
multiple
did.
tribes?
That was why
Effectively,
That was
Yeah.
why you were considered one of the potentials to lead them because
so
you were the sixth
I was
clan.
leading a chief, a clan chief, not just a tribal chief.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And they would rather have. I think the sticking point they had was the dragon tribe said, "Screw you if you don't vote you."
Or the dragon clan as they
So-
declare themselves.
Does this here represent the above and the plateau below?
That represents the party. So
Okay.
if you actually end up going up against something, it will
Okay.
shrink down to a smaller map.
Yeah, okay.
As the other one is, each square is
Okay,
quite
okay.
a large region of space.
Yeah.
So the movement there would be in half an hour or an hour for squares, whereas
Yeah.
up here it's normal actions. So if you actually go into toe to toe with something, you know you're doing so. So you're now finding yourself at the fort. They have had seed machines going constantly with wagon loads of ammunition coming from deep in Daraka. They've got a majority of their forces keeping the road free, especially with the halflings of the lake keeping the master ships away from the trade lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically holding the fort. We're outside the fort to hold the forward.
Well, you've basically got the fort on the ford, being the thing that protects this, because the path leads right into the fort, And then out the other side.
Alright, so we've actually we're actually in a fort.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got a fort.
Oh.
The master doesn't seem to be able to cross the river at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
But he seems to be massing on the other side of it. And you're just seeing that the wall of darkness has started to cross the lake.
Right.
So in the last month, it has moved about halfway across and then just stopped. You're not sure if it's because you hold the north and south fort still, or if the demon in the centre won't let it pass, saying none shall pass.
That'd be interesting to see.
Because, hey, the demon in the centre is supposed to be trained to become a god, or is a god. It's hard to tell.
It's not close enough to tell.
Well, anyone who knows can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to get information about gods from other gods. They don't share that information lightly.
Mm. Yes, and sometimes it's because they don't know and they don't want to tell you.
It's that they're not omniscient.
Yes.
Makes sense.
As Dracnomir found out the hard way when he was asking for help.
It's funny.
Apparently that was the day he got declared Chief of Chiefs.
As I said, it does explain why Extraordinary was busy.
Yes, that was your punishment, getting made Chief of Chiefs, because everything's your fault now.
No way.
So, no wonder I lost wisdom.
Yeah.
Though the Atruaghin at this stage are not permitted to leave their lands
Right.
as a force.
Makes sense.
Basically, it's too early is the statement from the gods.
To be honest, makes sense. Makes me
Well,
sad.
and let's face it, the Chief of Chiefs, just like a few months ago when he was doing the downtime, okay, he was keen for them not to get directly involved if they could avoid it.
Mm.
So,
As as they're considered some of the best warriors in the world, they generally don't go into battle without need.
Yes.
And at this point in time, their needs are not to go into battle.
Yeah.
Fairly sure that that's a matter of opinion.
Well, it's also they don't trust each other that much yet.
Yes.
So if the fear from the Atruaghin's people side of things, if they go into battle, they'll fight amongst themselves far more than they'll fight the enemy. Because that's all they know.
and there's also probably the aspect from the Dragons side is that they're fearful of an apparently combined Atruaghin force. So just the two of them tucked away behind the enemy lines if they can avoid it. Hey, if the marshal ends up between them and the Dragons, they'll be happy because then they can attack from behind before they reach Dragons.
Yes.
Okay, so you find yourself on the battlements at this stage,
Yep.
and you have heard from Drazzle that if any of you get too far away from the others, you might not be able to come back.
Yep.
Right.
So he's
Can
recommended
you give an
you.
indication as to how far is too far?
It says if you disappear, that's too far.
Oh.
Thanks, Drazzle.
Or at least, yes, about 3 feet before you disappear is the distance.
Yeah. So back off.
I wasn't going to mention that I wasn't there because I figured, that might work out in my favour.
Alright, so essentially Drazzle said we have to stick together and stick close.
And he says if you fall, then the fort falls.
And don't die. Gotcha. Thanks, Drazzle.
Yeah. No pressure.
Though if he falls, you might succeed.
If he falls, we might succeed.
But he cannot tell.
So wait a minute. Drazzle says we have to stick together. And if we don't,
The fort falls.
the fort will fall. If he falls, we might succeed at what?
You still might succeed against the master.
So it's okay if
He doesn't know.
he falls, but
So
he shouldn't.
we can use him as a shield then.
No, that's my buddy.
That's what he was saying.
No,
because
he's not saying he will succeed.
if he falls in battle, then the chances of you succeeding are a lot lower. He does not know if there's a chance, but
Yeah.
he's been manipulating history for
A long
quite a
time.
few sessions
think-
to get you to this point.
I think Drazzle needs protecting just as much as
Yes.
everyone. I think you would consider him a part of our party by now.
Yeah.
Which having a couple of dragons on your side does come in handy.
Mm.
Technically, Blackbeard considers him family, quite literally.
Yes. 2 dragons and an elf that can take on draconic aspects if necessary.
And a human who can take on draconic aspects, which is your dragonborn sorcerer.
Mm.
Oh, he's already part dragon
Yeah.
anyway.
Mr. Scales over here.
Yes.
So yes, you do see a lot of things before you. Most of these forces have moved out and beyond the cordon of death the master has built. This is the first time you've
Right.
actually seen him erect any structures, as well as siege machines have come this way as well.
Mm.
Mm.
As you have a feeling he's been working towards trying to take down the fortifications here.
Mm.
Yeah.
But unlike the Master, the Draconians are quite versed in technology and have some equipment that has been built by gnomes that allows them to fire far further than the Master's weapons do.
Good.
So you've managed to keep the Master at bay from the river for quite some time, as anything that gets within a mile of the river generally gets annihilated by your siege machines.
And in case I'm me, because I'm joining in with my nice shiny new longer range Eldritch Blast now.
Other things do try to get closer, things do other stuff, and
Yeah.
at night you've been using magic to light up the area.
Mm.
So without that, you would not have survived this long.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, again, I'm using lightning aspected Eldritch Blast as a strobe.
And the walls of your keep are about 100 feet high,
Mm-hmm.
covering a big chunk of the riverbank.
Yes, it's a good thing I picked up Eldritch Spear for my 11th level invocation, because otherwise I wouldn't even reach the freaking ground. Well, I'd barely reach the ground.
So you have what you believe is enough troops to even hold if the siege machines failed. And you've been free from attack for the last few days since you managed to get back.
Okay.
Well, it's basically the day you got back after getting Lani's soul back.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you see a huge army before you, bigger than you've ever seen before.
Okay.
Normally you don't have a vantage point. You've just seen the troops marching towards you,
Yeah, it's usually just a wall, but now we see.
and the forces you see are the soldiers you lost along the way.
Yup.
There are stories about the soldiers we lost along the way.
As he's animated all the dead.
It's a bit rude.
Again and again and again.
Yeah. And the oddest thing that you've found is, as what you've known about necromancy, most times when you destroy a skeleton, that body's gone. He's found a way to bring it back.
Great.
So no matter how many times you kill an undead, he can bring it back.
Because he's always got something to reanimate it with.
Well, he's got some way of adding life back to undead.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If he's doing something like mending or make whole, which, by the way, doesn't exist anymore, and I want it back. It's a brilliant spell. Far better than mending.
Though in the normal sense of things, when a body has been animated to undeath and it's been defeated, reduced to 0 hit points, the body disintegrates and is no longer usable.
Yeah, but it's from memory it says disintegrates to dust.
Yeah.
If you use make hole in it, you can put it back into being a skeleton again.
But it can't be animated again.
It's still something you used to be alive.
You can turn it into a construct, but you can't make it an undead.
But that's the thing. You may be making necromantic constructs out of them.
How high is the wall?
The walls are 100 feet high. They've built up the walls in the last few years, knowing the master was coming.
So from the top of the wall, my fireball can go 20 feet out. Or 140 feet out if I double it. Use my mirror magic.
What about momentum?
No, because
Or does it
fireballs,
just
it's got a set range of 120 feet.
Yeah.
But I can spend a sorcery point and double that to 240.
The unfortunate thing for him is if it goes that one square outside the distance, the spell just fizzles.
Yeah.
That is a shooting
You
explodes
potentially-
at the end.
Yeah.
Potentially arrow slits had multiple levels up the wall, so you could be down at the bottom level and still be able to look at an arrow slit.
You just
That
see a
would
bunch
work
of
as well.
skeletons dancing just out of your range, mocking
Yeah.
Even they get shocked when I spend the sorcery point and it goes flying into them.
Though
Yes.
the fact that at 120 feet you can actually hit 60 feet out if it's just going down straight from 120 feet up is because of the whole
The radius.
the way that the D&D does angles.
Yeah.
So that means that at 120 feet of range you can at least hit 60 to 80 feet from the top of the wall.
Yeah.
Just so you know from the way the maths work in D&D.
Yeah, but I've also, like I said, I can also spend a sorcery point and double it anyway.
Yes, and then you can double that out to about that would make it
Yeah. Basically,
about 180 feet out.
yeah. Basically, when it comes to range, no spellcaster has anything on a good archer.
Because the archers can get over 700 feet.
Exactly.
But just remember, I didn't ask how big the room was. I just said I cast fireball. That's my favourite D&D quote.
And
already.
it's entirely valid for a sorcerer.
At least it's not old basic D&D because it was volume, not
Not
area of effect.
Yes.
And so if you cast it in a smaller room, it then backblasted.
Gary Gygax actually made a mistake on a con module that he wrote, high-level con module, where it was in a catacombs, and he had someone who was Morden Kanan, who was actually one of the PCs, let off a fireball inside one of the rooms in the middle of the catacomb. And I actually worked out, because I was feeling particularly geeky at the time, I actually worked out how much of the map that would actually get to if all the doors were still open. 10-foot square, this big, this much of the map. Because that was the volume that took.
Yep.
And yeah, everything was going to get fried because that was it was a Morden Cannon fireball. It wasn't small.
If you guys have got spells, you want that one.
Yeah. Volumetric fireball, that would be so powerful.
So
That's why
we're
they took it
expecting
out.
big things
Yeah,
from
because
now.
it was so
Yeah,
bloody
so-
dangerous.
Now if you do some of the other ones, now it goes out for the radius of the spell, stopped only by things it doesn't burn through.
Yeah.
So if you hit a wood wall with it and it did enough damage to get through the hardness and the hit
Yeah.
points of the wall, it continued out to the rest of its effect.
Yeah. Now it's a flame blast of this diameter,
Yeah.
and that's it. Yeah.
So I've had little sphere-shaped holes in places where people have fireballed.
Mm.
So yes, you're looking at what do your characters wish to do at this stage, having just been informed that
Win the war.
win them all.
Yeah.
Okay, how is Calcrix going to win them all?
Well, you just asked us what we
Sheer
were doing.
force of will.
We just,
Yeah.
we just told you what we were doing.
Force of will, we're winning the war. That's it. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. Well, that's the session finished and wrapped up. Calcrix
And
has
there
won
we
the
go,
war.
and we did it. Great
We're
job.
good.
High five.
Unfortunately, the war number 2 now starts.
See, he's always got another one prepared.
Mm.
I feel that should be a meme.
There's always another war.
Yeah.
GMs, there's always another war.
Ah.
Because essentially what we're facing
Always
is
prepared for another
a
war.
never-ending onslaught. They're held here.
Of your friends. And
of our
patriots.
now dead friends.
They're no longer our friends.
Does anybody have any
on the plus side,
battle strategy?
we're not adding more people now.
There's the,
Because if they're being held back by the siege weaponry, then it means that we're not necessarily needing to increase the size of their army by giving them more personnel.
What do we know about killing undead or stopping undead from getting back up again and again and
they
again?
don't like radiant energy.
Normally it doesn't happen.
Psychic damage last time.
Psychic damage took out the Nightwalker.
Yep.
And finding out that these creatures are being able to be brought back was the shock you guys got recently.
Yeah.
Because normally, once you've defeated an undead, it's gone for good.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally they like disintegrate,
Mhm.
but these aren't doing that. They return.
It's special.
So.
And this is probably related to the Master's quest for godhood.
like that's
And that might be part of his special ability, is he can keep bringing back the dead.
How do we use that against him?
make him only bring back dumb ones.
Hey, the skeletal minions are the dumb ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can understand why he keeps throwing them against you, because
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, we can
Finding out
continue doing
how where he's sourcing what he's using to rebuild the skeletons, and messing with it somehow. So when he gets his skeletons that dance or something.
How do we nerf them?
Well, actually, that would be the thing.
Yeah.
They look normal, but you nerf them.
I'm
They take one hit
guessing
and
that
follow.
this is something that we probably had picked up over the last couple of months, on the idea that
Everything
we were
normal, they've only
fighting
got one hit
and
point.
discovering we were refighting our friends multiple times.
this is something you've discovered since
The Nightwalker.
since the Nightwalker. Before the Nightwalker, you hadn't
Okay.
really encountered it much because you'd just started facing your friends,
So that was just
Yeah.
like a month in.
and that was like 24 days in, and now you're 3 months in.
And we're
on the
just-
third
we're
month in.
seeing
But yeah, but it's certainly been happening for about 3 months, is that right?
Yeah,
It's not like it's just started happening.
it's about a month into seeing the skeletons re-emerge that you've already defeated. So while you've been fighting them for just over 2 months now, you've only been facing the same ones for the last month.
For
Okay.
the ones that we've defeated with like radiant or like other cleric energies, have we seen?
Well, I
those
expect
ones
most
return,
of
or
them have been
all of
killed
them?
by enough hacking.
Most of them seem to have the damage from which they were taken out visible.
Kind
So-
of like us
Hmm.
with our injuries. Okay.
So when you've hacked things to pieces, you've had skeletons show up with looks like they've had axe or sword strokes on them. You've had some that looks like they've been burnt. Some that looks like that they almost have a faint glow to them.
Is there any way we can be, I don't know, capturing these undead things and sending them through
That's
a
what I'm
portal or a
wondering
dimension
is-
or something?
That would take so much magical energy, but like I want 100% on that vein.
Some way.
Like, how do we stop them without continuing to kill? Because killing's obviously not
Killing's
working.
just costing us resources.
It's costing
Yeah.
us resources, costing us time
We need
and
to
energy,
destroy
because
the
they'll just
bodies
come
totally.
back anyway.
Hmm.
So, what's another
Oh,
way
you-
that we can
Well, the question
stop
is if
them?
we were to burn them to absolute ashes, when they come back, are we seeing ones that look like they're made up of ashes that have put themselves back
Are we
together?
Just like-
actually? Are we seeing ones come back that we purposely burnt the fucking shit out of?
You have seen things.
Yeah.
Everything you've thrown against them, you've seen some of those things come back.
Do we know anyone
it's
who
hard
has
to
the
recognise.
knowledge?
There's no real opposite to entropy, is there?
There is all the other spheres.
Yeah.
So we.
All the spheres oppose entropy, and entropy opposes all the other spheres.
some-
But it's more of a balance thing.
exactly.
Hmm.
So it would be kind of like down in that tomb. We would need to balance all of the elements between us as a group.
How do we go
Yeah.
all Captain Planet
Which is
in
why-
defeating these guys?
Yeah.
When setting up
We
when
need to
planting the
somehow
great
work
tree
out what's causing them to
in
come
Darrakan,
back.
I've got to
Yeah,
have that aspected to all of the other 4 elements.
like yeah.
So it's a
Yeah, but it
direct
can't be
counter.
just one of us. That's what I'm
'Cause-
thinking. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like in terms of
We
warlocks and stuff like that,
Mm.
they get their power from a patron.
mm.
is the master at the level of power to be a patron to other magical
possible.
beings? Because, like, it could be possible that it's the magic beings that are the ones, like, doing the day-to-day, bringing them back, using the master's power.
Yeah, but the
But
only
the
way
question is, how do we get there?
They
we get-
don't
how do you
come out
interrupt
with
that?
this,
Because
do
they're
they?
all the way back here.
yeah,
We're
that's
all
why
over
they're
here.
there.
Well,
Yes.
you have seen a structure
done.
being built outside the mists where they seem to be, where they've set up their siege equipment.
How
But their
far away is the
equipment,
structure.
it's probably about, from your spyglasses, you'd say maybe about 2 or 3 mile.
Which, going through 19 different hordes, legions.
Do we know what the structure looks like?
It looks like a mobile castle.
Kind of like the ones we saw when we were in that one town.
These ones were more moving along the ground, crawling.
Okay, gotcha. This one's a little different because it's staying put.
Well, it's stopped at this stage.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like the floating
Floating
tree
ones. Yeah, not like
or
that.
any of the flying citadels you've heard of.
So are we guessing that that might be a source of power that if destroyed might slow them down even more?
And it's outside the Master's Curtain of Death. So it's the first structure you've seen of the Masters that is outside.
Outside of that. So it's not. So yeah, I would say the Curtain of Death would be over there
Mhm.
or whatever,
So
and this is the first one we're seeing outside that curtain.
So it's potentially a siege engine of some form or some magical.
It's the power source that is assisting this army.
It could be the thing that's reanimating everything.
Exactly. So that would be what we need to get to. How do we get there?
People don't have a knowledge
have we had an indication that bodies or undead that have ended up in the lake,
Ooh, good question.
have they managed to return?
Not that you've seen, but
It's hard
Trying
to
to
get.
get onto the lake, into the lake, going to be challenged anyway.
there's a worry on the side of anything getting lost in the lake may feed something worse.
That's fair.
That's future problem.
That's level 16. Like,
I'm R.
No, actually, it's Darrican's problem. We'll move on to our next stage.
Because you have noticed that nothing the Master's done can cross the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
yeah.
You've even seen his ships just come to a complete stop in the water, no matter how fast they're going. At that point,
Cool.
But certainly I would be saying that when there's the opportunity to have got some of the destroyed undead, if there's any chance to clear the battlefield, it would have been the idea of, hey, putting stuff in the lake where we can. I'm thinking that's a fairly insignificant amount and would have actually been able to do it anyway, but
Try
it certainly would have been
Try to
something
put
of, hey,
the dead into the lake.
so I will give you that thing that anything you see submerged in the water doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Be it skeleton, friend, living person.
All the stuff.
I mean, that might not be the worst course of action to be starting to put things in the lake as a disposable thing, but whatever's in the lake may not appreciate it and or will use it against us. But again, that is a future us problem.
So Ithildown
I'm
Island is that
kind of
stopping point.
imagining a squad of
Is that
My
that
future
drawing?
destiny.
That's something that your previous character looked at and almost disappeared in.
Yeah. Remember that time where you're just like, I'm a gambler, I'm gonna go look. Nah.
As all clerics have been warned about the dangers of feeding the lake
Yeah.
Can
in
we
visions.
somehow get the entire
So all the clerics
undead army to
are
look
saying,
at the
don't
island?
do that.
Yeah.
So I would maybe listen to the clerics.
Basically, you've been warned that there's a finite number that can be added to the lake before you lose.
Makes sense.
Can we make the undead army look at the island?
That's the same as feeding in the lake.
Yeah.
It's a good idea though.
It's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
Just that you'll have a force stronger than the Master coming after you.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's not do. Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. It's Lonnie's destiny.
We could
She'll get there
do
eventually.
we could do a raid on the building.
But that's what I mean. Is like definitely it seems like our best course of action is to do a raid onto the building. But the question becomes, how do we get there? We have 20
How
different
far away
legions
was it?
stopping us, along
It's
with
about
other
3 miles.
siege equipment, all in the way.
We got Llewell's flying carpet.
I have
We
invisibility
could fly, we could
spell.
fly
Which is-
across, but we have beings
I
that
have great.
are
Do you have greater or normal?
50.
The carpet's
to
a single
100
seater though.
feet
To be honest,
tall.
unfortunately, Martin's been really busy this last fortnight, so my sheet is still not updated, and I have none of my new spells.
Because
So,
greater,
I don't know.
greater can still lob out spells.
Because they still have the siege equipment that can still hit any aerial attacks or person, unless you're high
It
enough.
could be invisible or otherwise hidden.
That would be the way to do it for sure.
Or the other one would be whether or not
What is dimension door?
we can get
Unless you
permission
open up
from
holding
the
space to go
sky
somewhere else.
to
It's a bit like
Would
a
it-
short-range teleport.
travel through the forest for a few
Would it
miles
work?
and
Have
then
you
at least
watched
come
some of
out
D&D
closer to
Beyond?
the building.
Huh?
He's got
Well,
dimension door.
there was Dimension Door in the original one too.
Yeah.
And the other
I'm
one.
just waiting for it to come for
Just
free
badly
on
done.
Prime because I can't be.
It's getting
Paying
close to
for it.
that. That's entirely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of
I have Dimension Door.
I was gonna say I know you have dimension door. Would it work? Could we do it?
How
If
close-
got greater invisibility.
barring any
distance-
magical barriers.
Yeah, distance is the issue.
Okay. What's
Yeah.
the distance?
Normally
on-
that-
Is it only
normally
usually
300
like
feet.
60 feet or something?
No, it's more like 300 or
It's a
something.
few hundred.
500.
That's not.
I will look it up.
worst.
And the
Um,
fort is about 4 miles from the forest.
Exactly. So.
Okay, so it's actually, that's the question I had, was like how far is it from the edge of the forest?
Because that would be the next course of action I was thinking of is like asking permission from Atruaghin and Atruaghin clans to walk along the edge of the forest around the
But
island.
that's not actually, but unfortunately, it's not going to make, it's about the same distance from the forest as it is from the castle.
Exactly. So that doesn't actually help that much.
You could use a boat.
Except possibly some directions
could,
which they might be
like,
expected to
we could call upon any of the halflings in
We'll
the
go
area
use the lake to. we've
to
got-
go around, but there are the forces on his forces on the lake that we would need to go around, and then the fort itself from the lake from here to there is approximately how long?
Probably about half a mile to a mile.
Could we,
Could work.
dare I say it, split into two groups?
No.
One circles around and the other one attacks the ships on the
Well,
way.
Droz will just
apparently
give
we
us the
get
thing, don't
separated.
separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever we're going to do, we have to do together.
Yeah.
So it's not like we say, for example, make Llewell invisible, put him on his carpet, send him on his way. That would potentially fuck us.
Yeah.
So what's in the other direction?
Dimension Door is 500 feet.
So we have the forest
Forest
there,
down
but
this
it's
side.
4 miles away.
Mm.
We have the lake here, but it's 1.5 miles to a mile away. Which, that's the closest, but there are forces here still that would see us.
He does have
But
ocean
I-
forces.
Unless...
I can make 4 people fly for 10 minutes, but I can only do that once because I've only got 1 6-level slot.
I do have invisibility as well. I don't know whether or not that would work, though.
That's what I mean, like, invisibility...
Technically, we've got enough capability to fly everyone.
We do.
So,
Yeah, but I can do it for 10 minutes.
Isn't your flying speed 60?
and how far can you go?
60. So basically,
It's running speed.
I can give up to 4 people, including myself, as well as 4. That's blowing my 1 6-level spell, so that's no sunlight, or just or chain lightning.
I think I had chain lightning, so...
Yeah, but basically, if I use my 6-level slot, it kills one of my 2,
It also doesn't give you a way back.
But
and we don't have a way back.
Yeah.
I mean, I can greater invisibility in myself and just piss off, but
well, could we just go the longer route? How long does it take to travel 4 miles?
Because the problem
Well,
we're
I'm
going
doing math
through,
right now.
well, we could
Well,
do
we don't have to go through. We can go along the edge.
we could do it by boat because I'm pretty sure we can still sail along the coast on a boat.
The Master's got his own forces on the lake.
So there's a river there,
Mm-hmm.
and then forest on your side, Martin.
Yep.
So is there anything that
Just
stops
keep
us from
disappearing in huge
going
bands.
down to that end of the river, going along the border of Atruaghin's forest without crossing into his area? Because you did say we could get cover there as long as we didn't go too deep in.
Yep.
Use
Well,
that
I
to
think
come around the
probably-
back.
As soon as we're out of range of our own siege forces, you're dealing with the wall of undead that represents the army.
We could always wait
Admittedly,
till that.
if we're going during the day, then we may have army less effective.
Well, well, that's why I'm
It takes
positing that.
35 minutes to fly there.
I only got 10 minutes.
No.
So you don't want to blow it on that.
No.
No. Because the thing with the sunlight, like I've got sunlight.
The thing he needs to keep in mind is he needs to be able to get back.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, yeah, you gotta get back.
So if you only do it once, then you don't want to do it.
But if I'm only doing me, I could do it heaps of times.
Yeah.
But it's
But-
a concentration spell, which means that it's the only concentration spell I can use.
If you were to be flying, in order to go 1.2.
But the problem with that is that would involve splitting the party. So me and Calcrix and Luel could fly over,
Yeah.
but that still
Drizzle
splits.
also has wings, so he can fly too. Drachnamir has a way of flight
Flying.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that just means that if Lani was to hitch a ride on the
Could Calcrix do if she's large?
Actually,
Calcrich could technically carry you.
Yeah.
hang on, I've got a better idea.
If
If everybody but
depending on
Lani
how-
has their own method of fly,
Depending on how deep the army is, in 10 minutes time you can go 1.2 miles.
hang on, I've got a better option than fly, and I can carry you.
But again,
Shape
this
change?
is if we
I've
do
got polymorph.
fly.
Ooh.
Polymorph would work.
Yeah, the problem is it'll stop me from casting. But if we're only trying to get there,
But if I can carry her without casting a spell, why don't you save your spells?
I was gonna say we want to save
but I
ourselves
still
as
need
much
I
as
still need to
possible.
be able to fly as well.
Also, the thing is, you could potentially go on the magic carpet.
With little
Except it's not very big.
It can carry one
carry
or two
two.
people.
Two.
Two.
So that means
That's two more
technically-
people.
Technically, you can carry,
I can carry
the
one
sorcerer
and-
with yourself.
I was
Lani
gonna
can
say-
go with the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Razzle can fly himself,
And
and
then,
Drachnamir can
fly himself as well.
technically turn into a. What's your totems, Jeremy?
Raven is the base one.
So he can basically
Oh,
fly
so-
himself.
Cool, we've got two ravens
So
there.
it could happen.
Or as a raven, you could even
Just
catch a roll.
while he's not done it yet, the special ability of the Atruaghin is they can turn into their
Shape change.
totems.
Oh.
But that's
okay.
only if they keep true to the belief. So those who carry metal items generally can't do so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It's a drawback, but it's a major drawback.
So
Yes, but if you've got someone who's just been declared chief of chiefs, I think that's sort of, yeah, they've accepted him as doing that.
I think so.
Yes.
Well, but it's also the sort of thing that Dracula has not carried. He's not
He doesn't.
carrying
Yeah.
metal.
He still rejects metal in all forms as much as possible.
Absolutely. Okay.
Unless, of course, it's been
so-
given to him by the dragons, in which case it's like,
Yes.
I'll accept this because you're giving it to me.
I'm going to stick it in the pack
Don't
I
let him
don't
carry around with
carry.
you though.
Yeah.
I put it in a place of honour above mantelpiece.
Yeah. That's what I said. Just stick it in
Okay.
a pack you don't carry.
Because most of their stuff doesn't use anything but metal.
Yeah.
So we could do that.
Okay, so yeah, we definitely have the ability to get there. The question becomes, how do we make sure that we're not seen getting in to avoid the siege equipment?
Most of the undead do not attack during the day.
So if we go.
So we
during the
go
day.
during the day. Which is
The
good.
armies
because-
generally don't advance during the day because, again, of the similar problems.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
you have seen that at night when light's been available that
Hmm.
the undead do seem to reform themselves. But only at night.
Okay, so our plan
So,
to
that's how we
go
stop it.
in the
A big
morning
ritual
is-
sun.
Send
We
them down.
we just stop the world turning and
in
it'll stay daylight.
go into
Yeah.
global warming. Cool.
So
fun.
Jeremy, I'm surprised you didn't just suggest sending them all to Hollow World.
That would also work.
become someone our
I'm not
problem.
after all.
Mm.
Well, they have a perpetual sun there.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
But I mean, yeah, the marks of these forces might be bad, but they don't deserve high level.
So what you're saying is our battle plan really just should be dig a hole to the hollow world?
Oh, we know where a lift is.
Let's just send them there.
Yeah.
So, mortal magic can't transport them there.
Yeah.
They've got to call on the gods.
Okay.
And there ain't no
Cool.
god around who's got to piss with that stuff.
So if we go in the
Much.
morning,
we need a trickster god.
fly over. Once the sun is up and beating down, probably like not sunrise, but maybe like an hour after sunrise, we should be safe enough to fly over, assuming all of the forces are not usable during the day, and then the generals who would be able to work during the day just stay nighttime for battle purposes.
to even ask if Drazzle can possibly help with stuff.
We'll ask him to come along, I think.
Yeah. And if he, well, first of all, ask him if he can come along, because if he can't, he'll tell us.
Yeah, exactly. He would tell us. I think that's probably our best course of action right now. Because realistically, like, this is a never-ending fight until we address
I can take another look at the life of the beast. Sort of thing. Once we're on this, you can turn and change the totem related to your clan. Is my clan technically dragon now?
Technically, it's one of them, yes.
Or technically, is my clan, or as an individual, as chief of chiefs, technically am I all totems part of my clan?
Well, at this point, you haven't actually
I haven't
taken on the role of the dragon leader yet. Even though you've been pointing towards it, you still can turn into the three spirits that you have followed.
Yeah.
Because they're the totems that you followed.
Yeah. I'm happy that he hasn't tested what his potential would be. But I'm just realising that his potential might be much more than he's tried out so far in his life.
Turn into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Cool. Sorry.
The downside to polymorph as it's written is you have access to every monster in every splat book in every printed edition of the game
But everyone else does
as it's written.
Yes.
Which is the same as the cleric has access to every spell in every splat book in every.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the yes.
But I mean, also it's got a big
with-
disadvantage, but all your mental stats match the animals, the beast as well.
Yeah.
That you get. Yeah.
Yes. There is the thing with the cleric, however, is it's strictly it's the spells your god's willing to give you.
No. As
Oh,
written,
not anymore.
Since
I was gonna say
3.0, it's been every splat book, every spell that has the
that's
cleric
true. It has
descriptor
to.
you have access to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I brought in the limitations. So the polymorph limitation is you'll need to pick animals
Yeah.
that you can turn into.
Just let me know what they are.
Or pick the creatures, but it's
Yeah.
basically so you can study something and learn it as a shape.
Yeah.
Just that you don't automatically get everything in existence.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's
It's-
fine.
it's-
There's not a lot of options for.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, polymorph. I'm probably going to pick a couple of combat forms, but most of my shit's going to be you're a bunny.
Oh yeah. Just learning slug. And, yeah. It's like learning wild shape, only probably rather
So if you
easier.
technically change a skeleton into a bunny or a slug, don't do bunny. Slugs probably. And then you squish said slug.
I know.
Well, then toss it into the sword.
Yeah.
No, they turn back to
Yeah.
what they were without.
Yeah, but at
When they
least
hit
then you're only
zero,
fighting a slug then, right?
Yeah. So you turn
Yeah,
into
but when
bunnies
you
and then
kill
release
the
wolves.
slug, it
No,
basically
don't
loses.
kill them. Just put them
yeah.
all in a jar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't
And
have
then
that.
put them in the sun.
Like polymorph's a 4th level
No,
spell,
don't
so
let
it's
them
not.
die.
It's not like I've got a lot of those.
Yeah, you can't really do that on thousands and thousands of skeletons.
Unfortunate.
Big jar.
Farm.
Bigger jar.
No, that's a good point actually.
Multiple
you put
jars.
them all in a big jar or several jars, and then you fly over someone you don't like and then drop them.
Yeah, but polymorph's also a concentration spell,
Oh, well, there is that little
which means
tiny
if I cast
problem.
polymorph on something else,
Then
Yeah,
you
it's
lose
gone.
concentration.
but
It's always a flaw.
But polymorph's useful for taking, like, if there's a couple of big nasty things, whack one with a polymorph into something harmless,
Yeah,
and then By being attacked by a bunny and not and resisting the urge to kick it.
No, I've seen Monty Python.
Mm.
Bunnies can be pretty deadly.
Yes.
You're
Ball
not
bunnies are nasty.
yeah, but I wouldn't be polymorphing it into a bawful bunny.
You pick bunny and suddenly it uses its sharp teeth. I didn't think Vorpal bunny is real.
Alrighty. So
yes,
we're going to
it was a
make it
great
over during
leap.
the day.
Yep.
We figured out how we're getting there.
Can we work it? Can we get a image of exactly what the external structure of the tower is? Or how much space we've got to land? The block within the...
I was gonna say compared to what we were able to see.
So it seems to be the moving fortress seems to be multi-limbed. Not sure exactly how many limbs because they become part of the structure when it stops.
Hmm.
So you think the castle itself is a construct of some kind?
What's it made of?
These
Hard to
could
tell
be
from a
a
distance,
golem.
but from what it looks like, it's probably made from either the bones or the bodies of dead.
Hmm.
So it'll burn.
So the moving fortress in and of itself is an amalgamation.
So it's a
So
creature.
it's like a golem, but it's
Yeah,
made
it's
out of
a
construct.
bones.
Yeah, it's like a construct golem.
Which
kind
means
of
it's
thing.
possibly got a soul in it as well.
A soul powering it.
Yeah.
Or it takes
Yes.
multiple, one
We've
soul
got
or
two
multiple
people
souls.
with experience in.
How big are we talking about?
You're talking probably about only about 20 feet in height, but goes out to about 60 to 80 feet, depending on when you look at it.
I'm looking to figure
It's a
out
construct.
how big the internals might
I
be.
could polymorph it
Can house
into
people
a
or-
cat, and we could carry it really, really high and drop it. Because it turns
No, not the cat, because it'll land on the feet.
Yeah.
well, not a cat. We could turn it into a snail or something,
Mm.
and then dump it in the lake, or dump it in the Atruaghin forest. Because the Atruagins do that dirty work.
They may not be happy with that.
They would definitely not be happy
That-
with that. Because
We
Atruaghin would
don't
know.
know for certain whether or not that would then end up overpowering Atruaghin.
I also wouldn't rely on that being our only form of...
I was gonna say, I don't think that would be
Relies on fail-safe,
Would any of us what kind of skills would you have to have
Because-
any knowledge on
the
constructs?
Arcana. is the
Yeah,
main
Can
which
I
I have
see if
that.
I can
You should have that.
do an arcana?
I do have it. Because I got all that stuff now.
Of which, I don't believe that the tower itself is the power source. I believe whatever is inside the
Yeah.
tower is the power source that we need to take out. So it's not necessarily like we have to take out just the tower. I'm pretty sure there's multiple facets to it. But it also
Yeah.
could be just the tower. I don't know.
Well, the other reason I'm asking is because we need to, once we get to it, we need to have some plan of attack that's better than turning it into a snail and chucking it into the forest.
Da, 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 da. I poke it.
And the rest of the limitations to things like polymorph and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's if it's fairly large. There.
Well, that's why I'm trying to find out what the
yeah.
So
So yeah, I don't
weaknesses
don't
are.
believe that would actually be our plan. I feel like
No,
there should be-
that's why I'm trying to find out more information so
Yeah,
that I
what
can
should-
come up with a plan.
Hmm.
And
I
I
think-
suggest anyone who has arcana give that a try.
I got that.
I am doing super intelligent impressions.
Is this really too bad?
Okay, so from Lucius's perspective, the fact that this structure keeps changing means it's not a valid target for polymorph.
Because it'll be a shapeshifter that keeps changing.
Which means Jeremy is also not a valid target for your polymorph Dragnomir.
Because he's a natural shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Did you want to go with your rule?
So I'm just doing my
yeah.
all of the everything's all over the place on this sheet. I'm just trying to figure
No
it out.
worries. Yeah.
Trying to do a more standard
Feel free to go
sheet.
first if you guys have got your
I
numbers.
What
got
was-
actually got a pretty good roll. I got a 24 in Arcana.
You beat me by one.
There's
Yeah,
not
It's a pretty good roll.
Because
Yeah.
you've got all the skills.
Yeah, because Lonnie is the best.
19.
I just got all the intelligence one.
19.
Well,
Nice.
all the
Yeah.
non-physical ones.
So, putting your heads together, what did Lowell get?
27.
27. Did Dragnomir throw in any suggestions?
Hmm.
Does Dracnomir know Arcana, Jeremy?
Jeremy, you there?
Still on mute.
He's on mute.
Maybe
Probably got
not.
something happening.
Oh, there he is.
Apologies. I did go on mute when something was happening. I forgot to turn it off. I was going with a 26 on engineering.
Okay, engineering.
Not looking at it from the Arcana perspective, but looking at it from weak points and structural integrity.
Yeah.
Okay, from an engineering perspective, you'd think it would be weakest when it's moving. Because there's no way a structure like that can withstand losing, say, the legs on one side without actually causing massive damage.
Have we seen it?
Although,
We've seen it
by the sound of it,
But have we seen it moving as we were here?
You saw it move out of the mists.
Okay.
I'm assuming when you described it as being about 20 feet high and 60 or 80 feet across or something like that, I'm assuming it could have got a somewhat spider type when it's moving.
Please.
Multi-limbs.
You think of it more of a blob-like movement. So it's not moving in a consistent manner. It's very chaotic. It might have
Does
three
it
legs on
remind
one
us of
side.
Horse?
Doesn't remind
Okay.
you of horse
Just
at all.
curious.
It's a lump
So,
of chaos.
so while horse looks unusual, he moves in a consistent manner.
Okay.
This adapts to the terrain around it.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah. But obviously, yeah, so it's not the sort of thing that is vulnerable to take out one leg so it will fall over. It's just that, yeah.
There are times it's
When it's
supporting
moving-
itself on one leg on one side, so there are
Okay.
times it can be done, but if you're not fast enough, it might grow extra legs to support itself.
In
Yeah.
the time
But
that
it's
we've
also the
seen
fact
it
that if it's
stop
only 20 feet off the high, then it's
here.
probably not going to do huge damage if you keep
Yes.
that count by the full size anyway.
Yeah. So in the time we've seen it stopped here, how long has it been here?
Been here for probably about half a day.
Oh, so it's brand new.
Brand new, yes.
Gotcha.
Which is
okay.
why it's a big thing for you to see out there.
So
Up
that's
until
why.
now, you've only really seen the undead that you've been dealing with,
So
and
now
then
that's why we're moving.
and after it arrived is when the siege equipment crawled out from it. Siege equipment doesn't appear to be manned.
So it may or may not be sentient and or just magically done.
Well, that comes down to the Arcana of you, I guess.
And you believe that the creature itself, amongst, as you'd put it, is really a construct. But it does have aspects of how the Shadow Elves do things, of how the gnomes do things.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of almost techie kind of.
It's it is constructed of materials not meant for its purpose,
Gotcha. So very
forcing things to do things that they're not meant to do.
very sciencey. Okay.
And
Sounds like me whenever I try to use power tools.
it strikes you
How's he
of
say?
soul-powered stuff, which the Shadow Elves were dipping into.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That explains the powered ashtray.
So yeah, I guess it's definitely a thing of like if we see this moved in here just within the last half day, then that lets us know that they're planning on moving forward. So yeah, gotta take care of it now.
And you sort of feel that most of the forces are designed to protect the structure, not to advance.
Out of froth, so not very fizzy.
With
But at least there is fizz.
one of our Arcana rolls, do we believe that the siege equipment is an extension of the tower itself?
It may be, or it may be directed by it. It
Gotcha.
could be both, or they could be independent.
Gotcha. Very
It's
hard
possible
to
to build all that sort of stuff because you've not seen him deploy siege equipment on this side of the lake before.
Yeah.
tell. True.
And this is the first time you've had a structure able to repel forces from a distance.
And okay, just confirming, the terrain between us and the structure on the ground is relatively flat, but full undead. Is that right? but the undead are not going to be active during the day.
You've got about a mile and a half of free space, including the river, before the undead appear, and the undead are in the last mile and a half to the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're less active or inactive during the day. Is that right?
They seem to be just milling about during the day. They will react to threats, but they so when you've gone up and done a sortie against them during the day, they have retaliated, but they've not sought out combat.
Yeah. I'm presuming
So
there
what
are
you're saying
things
is I
like
can walk
archers.
this.
You might be able to walk like that through them. You've not tried it.
There's a spell that allows you to do that, you know.
Walk like I'm doing.
No, not
Well,
walk
now that
like.
I've lost my
Not walk
soul,
like.
I can
You're
just put on the soulless gaze.
That would actually be an interesting thing, being able to cast the undead camouflage spell, whatever the name of it is.
You think
So
it's
what do you-
really one
so-
undead?
Yeah.
Jeremy, what are you thinking? Do you think it's still worth trying to fly in and
Well,
over?
I'm certainly thinking if we can fly it better. Explore the idea of also thinking about getting out again and things that.
Yeah.
Certainly in Jack Dimmer's case, he's turned into a raven in once per day. So
Yeah.
he can then turn into a
That's
wolf later in the day. So.
But,
Or you can fly independently,
yeah.
but you can't necessarily fly long distances.
Yeah, I'm presuming the undead have archers, because otherwise just flying over them would be destroying them with impunity.
Well, if you fly high enough, you generally can.
Yes, but if I fly high enough, I don't have the range to hit them. I can throw rocks at them.
Most of the archers have gone north of the lake, of your side.
Even so, if I'm going to do anything about them, it's going to be flying at 600 feet and dropping baskets of rocks.
Which does far more than most magic.
Well, most magic work's not going to reach that range. It does have its uses. One big rock, the biggest one I can carry on the
Carpet.
on the carpet, and I can drop that on siege weapons. They just repair them, but
When you use it effectively for the 600 feet,
it's a different thing entirely.
Well, I mean, it's not really
Different
worth
thing
doing if we can work out what's causing the undead, the
Yeah,
special
it's-
case of the undead.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a tool to use. It's a tool we've got available.
Are we attempting this?
I
Might as well.
think
Go on.
so. I think perhaps maybe our plan should be end up to the lakeside portion of the tower and find a way in from there. Whether that means like fighting the tower itself or trying to find whatever is holed up in there.
Oh, well, see if there's an
To
entrance to
destroy
get
them.
inside.
Yeah, see if there's an entrance to get inside as we get closer, I suppose. So I guess maybe we should. Our goal is to fly over, end up on the lakeside of the tower, but while we're here, seeing if there's an entrance and making a plan from there.
Okay. So, do any of you have spyglasses?
Ooh,
I do.
Did I have one?
You do?
I did.
In fact, I think I've technically got two.
No, you used to have one. It got destroyed,
It did.
and you never replaced it.
Nope.
I have two. I have a repaired one.
She
and
did
I have a
repair
normal
one.
It was repaired.
Yes,
I
she
was
repaired.
one.
She repaired one.
And she still got it.
And I
Yeah.
got a non-broken one as well. I
Yes.
bought a non-broken one to go with my
Cool.
repaired one. So I have two. So I could technically.
So, Kakrus
loan
prepared
one.
something earlier.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Well, like, I guess
guess
Calcrix is
I
flying
could
me. Can
technically-
can she use the spyglass while flying?
Technically.
But I could also technically give one of my spyglasses to another member of the party.
I mean, if I'm
So
flying,
both
if,
of us can
if
look
I'm
out.
if I'm with you, you can give it to me.
I could give you one,
Because
and
using
then I
the
could say
spyglass before you
give
fly
Lul
can give you more
or
information.
Drachma.
I would
or-
also-
You've got to assume how big do you have a spyglass?
Yeah.
Have you got a dragon-sized
I
one, or is
would
it
also
normal?
I would also suggest
He's never
using the
told me.
carpet, because on the back of a dragon, dragons have flappy wings. They go up and down.
How big is the
So-
other
You're
spyglass
not-
Have
you bought?
two. Can give one to Lul, and
Oh, yeah.
Lani can have one.
That's what I'm
It was
suggesting.
normal, they were normal size.
They're both the
Okay.
size.
It's
So-
it's just using it from your back
Mm-hmm.
is only useful if you're standing on something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we take off, Martin pointing this out should be good to look. So whatever, we're gonna pretend we now have a helicopter pad on our fortress. We'll use spyglass to look. hopefully he can give us some imagination of what's going on there before we take off. Then as we go,
Which means the characters who've got the spyglasses can make a perception roll to identify things.
yeah.
Woohoo!
So we'll go with that.
So would that would be these two?
Yeah.
Have we agreed? Yep.
Yep. I have to double check my stats because my stats changed.
A little snack thing with some nuts and.
Ooh, nice.
I should have a 19.
25.
25. Okay, so between the two of you talking as you're looking, you see that there seems to be an opening in the center of the other structure on the top, and a purplish glow coming from inside there.
Ah.
And the
Okay.
glow is reminiscent of the golem powers that you had fought against previously when we're covering Lani, is that each of the golems was powered by a purplish crystal.
Okay.
These crystals were about the size of a fist, and
So
it looks like the one in this structure is bigger than a person.
When we fought the golem that took my soul, did we destroy the crystal?
Yeah, to destroy the crystal.
How did we do it?
Was
Did I just
you
hit
did-
it a
we just
lot?
smashed it, I think.
Well, you were the crystal at the time.
I was. That is true.
So you've got a very vague thing on what actually happened at that point, but it did require people working together.
So, I guess with that then, could I get insight?
Basically, it has to be hit by opposing elements.
Hit by
Ah.
opposing element. So we have to figure out what element the crystal
Everything-
is, or we
everything
have to
could
like
be.
hit like fire, water, and then earth, air.
That sort of thing, yes.
Gotcha. We got that.
But if it's
I actually
entropy,
checked on my list of invocations. I'd forgotten this before. I've actually got the elemental affinity. I can pick any of the elements. So I could have been using Radiant. So for something like this, I can just cycle through all of them, just whack them.
it costs you a spell. It costs you one of your
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, but you use the invocation. I believe it costs you a point. Okay.
Every time I choose. Bang, bang, bang.
I was just looking at
I
the
think
invocations.
Actually,
Most
sorry, I may actually do it. Sorry, I picked one with that. I've got Force Basic, Radiant from that one, and then I've got 3 other elements because I'm a 3-element person, and I can actually use my own affinity, and that's chosen per shot.
Okay,
So I can get 5
guess-
different ones in there.
Of course, we won't know exactly what's going on inside the tower, but at minimum, we know.
Yeah, you have to spell one. You have to use one spell point to
Yeah.
choose another element.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, we at minimum know
But-
that the tower is powered by this,
Yeah.
from what we can tell, purple gem, and so if we destroy the purple gem, we will stop this tower from advancing.
You could even, we see we can even remove it
And
and take it.
if the tower itself is the thing powering things, cool. If it's not, then we at least take one base away from them.
When we get closer, when we're going in, someone with detect magic can have a look to
He's got it. He's got it on.
Detect magic won't tell you.
touch his
More
school.
It tells
of
you the
the
school.
higher level of magic will give you more details.
Oh, you know, we at least being able to tell the school could be helpful.
Yeah.
If it was like a necromantic, you know.
Yeah.
You're expected to be
I would-
necromancy at
yeah.
the minimum. But necromancy and conjuration probably paired
Yeah.
because
Makes
of the
sense.
construct side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's without even doing detect magic. Your spellcasters would assume as such.
Yeah.
Though it may only radiate necromancy if that's the dominant school.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have
Every
any
time we
of
talk about
those
schools and
detections.
magic,
They're
I
a
don't
waste
think of
of
Wizard
time.
101.
Of
I have
course.
spells that make myself go faster, make me harder to hit, and help me blow shit up.
And that's where rituals are the things that give you the flexibility. So that's why it was done that way.
Yes.
All right.
So you can always do flexible stuff, just you don't choose to do so during combat.
All right. So I think our plan from here is flying over, go through the opening, and go all Leroy Jenkins on a purple gem. That's the best I got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Works.
If you want something else or something, let me know.
I will. Thank you.
diabetic friendly football.
Coolies.
There we go.
Less diabetic friendly, but still somewhat more friendly.
Thank you.
I've just you don't have to eat them, but there's just some nuts and some dark chocolate, which will.
Dark chocolate.
They are a little bit sugary, but they're not that
I
much.
said, I've just like with things like where I drink a lot of coffee, I've tried to cut a lot of that out.
That's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting you know what you're getting. Right now, people are sufficiently sugared up. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Virtual snacks of Jeremy's choice to Jeremy. But he also drinks virtual hot chocolates as well.
Yes.
So yes, you head off at early morning.
Yep.
So how long would it take to fly over there?
It took 35 minutes at a speed of 60 feet per hour.
Mm-hmm. It's the same in my carpet.
Yeah.
Okay, so as Llewellyn is piloting his carpet, has he given someone else a spyglass to use?
Wait, was somebody flying with Lua?
I thought you were.
No, I'm with Cockers.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it would be Lucius?
Yeah.
So
Give the
Lucius could go.
spyglass. Yep.
Yep.
I'll use the spyglass right to fly your carpet, your choice.
When Cockers flies me, am I on her back or am I in her claws?
Back.
Most likely back.
If your perception's
Cool.
Eep's up there too. Eep's refusing to leave me since I got my wing damage, because the reason why my wing damage is black is because Eep used in the darkness special.
When we took off and we were still above the river, I made like an excited noise, but after we crossed the river, I was shh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Lonnie's having a lot of fun.
Eep's got her serious face on.
It's probably also slightly scary because you're so used to being on the water.
I'm-
It feels like you're on the water, but there's no water around you.
Yeah, so it's super. It's like being on a roller coaster,
Kind of. There's a rhythmic movement,
but she's with her friend Cup.
but it's
so
not
okay.
caused by
So you're driving
water,
the
it's
carpet
caused
top.
by air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's driving the
Yep.
And I'm
carpet.
using,
So you get to make a perception roll, and Lani also can do so with disadvantage because of the
Moving.
flight.
What if I glide when she's looking?
You won't be able to keep up with the others as well.
23.
It was a strategy I thought worth putting out there. She can
So
glide
what
for a couple of
strategy?
seconds.
13.
Okay. Lani can.
What if Eep works as a stabilizer? Come on, that made you laugh.
Be cute.
Be very cute. Who knows? Eep may be the spyglass.
Yeah. She possibly could make herself into one. I do not know what Eep's capacity is.
Okay, so Lani having a look, seeing you don't really notice any extra details as you're watching from here, but it seems that Lucius, looking at it, can see that of the 5 towers surrounding the outside of the space, there seems to be a small crystal in each of the 5 towers, and you can see energy lines going between them. And
So
through
the siege?
no, on the actual castle
Okay,
itself,
so there's like 5 arms.
that there are 5 turrets on top.
And they each have an energy thing.
Each
Yep.
have one of them in there,
So that's
and
our
this appears to
spheres.
be a energy going into the ground, as it seems to be sucking the life out of the earth itself.
Oh, so that could be power,
That's
pepping the
element
way
That's how
for
he's
the.
doing it.
Mm.
He's taking the power of the area to... Whoa, did he... Wait, hold on.
That's how his
Instead of
his
being-
zone works.
A soul.
He's taking the soul of the land.
Mm.
And see, that's why Atruaghin is protecting the land as much as possible.
That's
When
what
we
he's
look at
using.
that,
That's what he's using.
If I look at the ground around the tower, does it look like it's been.
because that's the
Yeah,
binding
it
to the
does
land.
look
Because
like it's dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
he's basically running the tree backwards
So we need to.
because they're a source of
That's cool.
And a source of the power of the land.
So that could be bad for us if we get near it. It
So-
could suck our life.
Sorry, I know I'm not saying this, but he sees the 5 turrets with their power going into the ground, and then is the main building itself also purple glow? Okay, so 6 in total, but like 5 going.
One
Yeah, that
large
we can
crystal
see.
and 5 smaller crystals.
So it's like a circuit.
Hmm.
And each of the our 5 smaller crystals seem to be connected to each other through the big crystal.
Okay.
And the ground around the tower is dying.
And I'll give Lucius an insight roll.
That's something I'm good at.
Yay.
Unless I roll a 1. But that would become...
Look at it this way, I'll make it advantage considering you
Okay.
have some other information to go with it.
Thank goodness.
That's a 13 on the dice, 18 plus suspicion, 22. And I
Okay.
think I get something else from one of my sorcerer things. Nobody's full. Have a look.
Do you need anything else? Pass me a coffee cup. I'll probably take your sushi if you like. A bit of space there.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. And I was 6 to that number because I get my charisma bonus to insight checks.
Nice.
Okay.
So that becomes 19, 24.
30.
Yeah.
So as you're looking at it, you believe you can actually see a ley line going from the building back into the fogs,
Into the what?
into the fog itself, back into the master's.
Oh,
territory.
so this thing's sucking
So-
power the
So it's a
chap.
tendril. So it's probably getting power from the tree that he stole.
Or is it going? It's going. Or is the power going back?
You believe it's feeding the
Feeding back.
master. So it's coming through here and going back, taking all the energy from here back into his land.
Because
Yeah.
the trees they go outward, and so he's essentially doing it opposite.
So basically, this thing's like a feeding tube.
Yes.
But it's
It's-
also a proper ley line.
Sounds gross.
Yeah, it's
So it's like an artificial ley line.
All ley lines are
Natural.
technically artificial
Yeah.
when they're first created.
yeah, it's a corrupted ley line because he's running it backwards, basically.
No, it's an entropy ley line.
Oh,
Well, basically the same thing, really.
Because each of the elements have a ley line,
Yeah.
and he's using an entropy ley line.
okay. So if it's entropy, what do we use to
Learning ley line
counteract
stuff
it?
would be interesting.
Anything else?
There are a lot of things you could use to counteract it. It's just that for you'd never heard of anyone
Using
moving
it?
a ley line.
Okay.
Yeah, they're usually pretty fixed.
They're normally based on settlements and locations.
And usually built up by rituals and heaps of time over like a little.
But he's moved a world tree, so
Hmm.
the fact that he's moved a world tree means he does know how to move ley lines, because world trees are generally a fixture on the ley lines.
Yeah.
They're normally a starting point or an end point.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
So-
not surprising since we saw the tree that was moving.
We need to take this out because it'll slow down the fog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that it will slow down his progress because he's obviously draining power using this thing to
Yeah.
power all his undead and stuff.
So I guess we're flying over. You see this. You can't necessarily talk to each other. How do you help direct?
Technically,
I
he
have
can
sending
shout.
stones.
Yeah, you can shout. So how do you want to direct us?
Sending stones?
Mm-hmm.
He throws a stone with information. I have a message for you, sir.
Yeah.
I bought
Here,
enough
Lonnie,
to
catch.
give everybody one a couple of sessions ago.
Yeah, she did actually. You
Yeah.
bought
Well,
them.
we'll use the sending stones. Roger? Roger?
So everyone can talk to Calcrix, and then Calcrix can pass on the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Calcrix, who's calling today?
And if Calcrix is flying, Eep is the one. She's like the little telephone reception person. She like puts the sending stone there
Points it
and
next to
then,
your ear.
and then passes on the information.
I love that. That's so funny.
Well, it's not safe to use your phone while flying.
And it's free.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'll pass the information on to Calcrix, who can then pass it on to everybody else.
Yep.
So you believe that by draining the land, he's probably creating capacity for the undead to rise, because he's been putting entropy higher in the region around it.
Yeah, imbalancing.
Just a slight point of question. If Jeremy's a raven, or is he chosen a different shape, can he wear a sending stone around his neck?
No, because it would be too big.
Too big? Okay, so Jeremy may not be...
He could literally perch on one of the other characters.
Yeah, he can ride on me.
Yeah, he's like a raven.
I'm pretty sure a raven is not going to take me
And
down.
I believe ravens can understand and speak.
Yeah.
So, from what you've understood from looking at the ley line, you would expect that by making entropy more powerful in the region, it's easier to
Reanimate.
divert the laws of the other spheres.
So we
Yeah.
need to basically blow this fucker
We
up.
need to take this out and restore the balance of the elements in the
What is
area.
right? Would there be a way of reversing it?
The Tree of Life does the opposite. Undead cannot come close to it. The Forge of Power of the Dwarves is the same as the Tree of Life.
Yeah,
it
I'm
does
just
exactly the
Trying
same
to
thing.
think if it's something
Oh.
we could do here
But
and now
theirs
to
is
reverse it.
so the Dwarven one is more the energy side of things. The Tree of Life is more the matter side of things. There are a few other ones with the different races. No one really knows what the Halfling one does because they don't talk about it.
The one rule about Halfling Tree of Life.
They don't
is
need to
talk
know.
about Halfling Tree of Life.
Yes.
Well, they each have a racial artifact. The dragons have their hatchery, which is all about changing life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more to
Transformation.
With this entropy stone, is it possible for us to infuse it with like life or something?
possible, but the thing is, infusing it with life may just give it more power.
Let's
Because
destroy
it's basically sucking life from the world.
We need to destroy it.
We might need to do
Or fix it.
research.
I was gonna say our first step is destroying this tower. We'll worry about rebalancing after.
We I think destroy the tower, gather what info we can, bring it back to say camp, and then Redrian and well, maybe not Redrian.
From looking
but-
at the ley lines and that, do I feel that we'd be better off basically destroying the big stone, or would basically taking out some of the smaller stones, which would be easier, do the job?
You're not sure you can touch the big stone while the smaller stones are still active.
So you may have to destroy the little stones first.
Can I ask you to ask that question?
By the way the lines are moving, the outer ones protect the inner one. And because they're harder to see, most people would go straight for the main one and fall into a trap.
Whereas because I've got,
You spend some time
Because you're
looking.
special.
Well, I have a high perception.
So yeah, so it
Yours.
seems like our thing then we need to destroy the 5 to destroy the main.
Lane, yeah.
So I will leave it to the flying people to determine where we land.
With the stones, I take it they're all staying a certain amount of distance from each other.
They move. They are not consistent.
So they're like
The
Chaotically-
tower, as you've seen the place move, everything seems to be moving slightly.
Oh, but I mean, are they staying a consistent distance away from each other, or they're not touching each other at any point?
You don't see them touching each other, but they come close. So it's
like
it's
they
not.
could be here.
They don't seem to
here,
cross each
here.
other's line to the sensory stone. That's the one that
Okay.
you have noticed.
So it's almost like a hand going out like that.
Mm.
Does anyone have telekinesis type spells or abilities to move
What
stuff?
sort of weight capacity are you talking about?
I don't know how heavy those stones are. We'll have
That's
to.
the
Okay.
thing.
From the
Well,
looks of things, they're
generally
probably bigger than a halfling, smaller than a elf.
Yeah, no.
The small ones.
That's the small ones, yeah.
That's-
The large one's probably
Because I
closer
was
to the
thinking you
size
could alter
of
the path
a
of one of the
giant.
small ones so
Right.
getting to where it doesn't go.
From a distance, it looked smaller
I'm
until you got
presuming
more
the
perspective.
solution's
Yeah,
too
so
simple.
the smaller ones are like
Objects
quarter of a
in
ton.
spyglass may be smaller than they appear.
I presume it's
engrave them
too
around
simple a
their
solution that
What was
you'll
that?
may or may not confirm. Destructive wave.
Yes.
Destructive wave may
I've
do
actually
it.
got skills and tools and stuff.
I'm thinking that we can push one of the stones into
So I could
where
cast
it's
that at 6th level.
we can push one of the stones into where it's the path it's avoiding. It could disrupt it enough to cause.
Destructive wave cut targets up to 5 objects.
So if you move them all into.
And if you pull it off, it destroys them all.
Hmm.
We used it in the tomb with the statues.
Oh yeah.
Well, Calcrix used it in the tomb with the statues.
Yeah, true.
Just
That's
looking.
how
You
you
were
got
on one
them.
of them?
Yeah, that's how you got them. Yeah. So, would be curious to see if we could.
The question is
we
how
learn-
good am I rolling tonight? I do have luck of chaos.
Well, the good
but-
thing about Destructive Wave is you don't need to do a big roll for it.
Mm.
I'm just looking up the actual spell that I had online.
It depends on whether or not the dice are trying to kill me tonight too, which is, you know, more often than not the case.
Okay. Where are we? No. I jumped too far ahead. That's always fun.
I just realised it. I do have destructive wave in here.
Mm-hmm.
That helps. I think it's near the bell.
So you
Here
can
it
do
is.
it. So you can do a dismissive wave and have walls fall over.
A dismissive wave.
Yeah.
The big thing you have is it only works on creatures.
Oh.
Oh.
And you've got to hit the ground.
So
Okay.
living walls.
Hmm. Oh, because is it like a...
And it
like
will do
goes through
radiant
the-
or necrotic damage.
Smack the ground and it waves the ground.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
So radiant damage.
is
didn't
your,
work?
would be your choice in this
Choice,
case, yeah.
And be knocked prone.
Mm.
So it wouldn't work.
Oh, so it's kind of like a seismic
there's a
wave?
good chance that you have, if you do it, you'd have to go underneath the creature
I'd be willing to do that.
because it's going to be within 30 feet of you,
I'd be willing to do that.
and that's where it's sucking the life from underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Will I last
You don't
long
know.
enough to pull off one spell?
You're not sure, but at least it's only a vocal version, so you're only making having to pronounce it.
Hmm.
I'm thinking. Let's just try destroying one of the small stones or moving it.
Yep. It's a good test.
I don't know if anyone else has got, like, most of my spells are just like blasting the crap. I can try.
What about, alternatively, and this may have similar limitations, Thunderwave, which also applies to creatures,
That is a sound one.
but also says that it pushes objects that are in the area 10 feet out of whack.
How big are the objects?
It just says
yeah, it just
objects.
says objects on the spell, actually. But it's assuming like a marketplace or something like that. I don't know what the limitations are.
Incitation, Constitution.
That'd be up to Martin the rule
Mm.
whether Thunderwave would move.
It's only a 15-foot cube though.
Mm.
15-foot cube.
So I think the other one might be.
It would be a better option, but in terms of like where you have to place yourself in order to do it, it's very
So the difference
dangerous.
of Thunder Wave he can do from on top of it, whereas the Destructive Wave he has to do it from the ground.
Yes,
So I could
Yeah.
hover over top and
Yeah.
give it a shot.
You could.
we don't want to go underneath because I don't know how bad the.
For her to affect the entire structure, she'd have to be right underneath the central crystal.
Yeah, which that's dangerous.
Question.
What we want to mess with is the
Once I
little crystal.
realise that these are two possible solutions, do I have to roll a saving throw to resist carrying them out?
No, you don't.
Good.
Because it's not about. You're not curious about this in that sort of way.
No, that's okay.
Well, I'm thinking we
As long
try
as I
the
don't have to
Thunder
do it, I'm
Wave
fine.
first,
You can think of it as discussing tactics with Lonnie.
and then the other option is I can either use. I can try disintegrating one because that's always fun.
I was gonna say our best option: get into the tower and start one by one.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that if we can push the stone back into that area where they don't go, it could do a catastrophic feedback or something. There could be a reason why they're not going into that section. So we can.
Is there a
What
reason
area-
why we
what
can't
area are
try
they
Thunder
going
Wave
Okay.
first?
So one was saying that they're spinning around, right? They're coming close to each other. They're doing all this because there's
They're
certain
only
places,
moving slowly.
and they're moving but there's certain places they won't go because it might
They won't
create a-
cross between each other.
They won't cross. So you can force one to cross over.
That's what Thunderwave might
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping is
Oh.
if we
That's
cross them
why if
over,
I sit 15 feet above,
So
cast
if we do
Thunderwave,
that,
I could possibly knock them out of alignment enough.
that
and
they
that
cross, and then
would
hopefully,
destroy it themselves
Yeah.
hopefully we don't.
And
we have
then
no
we
idea
don't
what
have to
I'll
have
do.
any party members in there.
nearby.
No.
I don't know. I feel like that's maybe worth a try.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm
Good.
thinking it's not a
See what happens. I guess.
bad option.
What's that?
I'll give Calcrix a Arcana roll with advantage on that.
So that means I roll
Twice
twice.
and take the higher of the two results.
I could also try to dispel magic on one of them.
15.
But I think
Okay.
like
I don't think that would.
Let's just roll
Yeah,
twice
fine.
and I'll do the numbers. 18.
I think the 18's a better one.
well, I could use a $6 spell slot for dispel magic, but I don't know.
I would say that.
Yeah.
So proficient +4,
Yep.
and then there's something else.
You add
Intelligence.
your intelligence to it. Intelligence modifier.
Only +1. So that makes it 23.
23. So, unless of course you're doing this from, because you can apply any attribute to any skill if you can justify it.
Oh, okay.
That's the
would
difference of level up
say-
versus 5th rate.
That's kind of
Yes.
I don't know if I
could-
can talk my way into charisma.
You can probably talk your way into wisdom from understanding of.
I do have wisdom, which is
Insight?
+3.
Which is probably an easy one to say because you're doing it from your knowledge of how the world should be,
So that'd be 25.
not the science
Not
of
what you
everything.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be 25 using
So,
wisdom.
okay. So, looking at from what you've heard from the others, you believe that each of the 5 towers probably follows the same principles that Drazzle's used on various occasions. Is each tower is a different elemental aspect,
Okay.
Yeah.
and by combining the 5 aspects together, it powers a central crystal.
So even one removed will affect the
Or
central power,
putting in opposing.
or messing it up by adding one. Yeah,
So,
No,
like,
no, just pushing
Or some-
opposing ones together is catastrophic.
that's a good point.
Oh, so if we figure out
Because-
which ones represent the entry version of which.
How far apart are they all? Like,
That they would probably. It's about a 50 to 60 feet width. So there are times that they're within 10 or 20 feet of each other.
So
If I
That's-
wanted to guess the order of the towers, how would I roll it, and am I able to do so from where we are?
You'd normally expect that you'd have to cross a tower over more than over one line to get to the tower past it, because they would all be at least one separated from the opposing tower.
Because I would think it would go water, earth, entropy, fire, air.
Yeah.
We only have to just get 2 of them close together.
We
They're
if
going
we
to mess
could
each other up.
technically
You want to get 3 to touch.
That would be
Because you wouldn't expect you can
Then
go
we can
past
make
the tower,
sure.
but if you can push 3 together,
Yeah.
then you're going to get 2 opposing towers.
if we could
Well, here's where we
at
work
minimum
out if there's any way to
get
change how they move. Dominate monster. Would that work?
if we can at minimum
I don't
get the 3 middle towers close together, that could work. Ideally, we should do 2, 4, and 5, but if we could get 2, 3, and 4, it could
and
work.
the other option as well is if we can work out the 3, we can get to hit each other,
Yeah.
and then we could also target the other 2. We have the opposing element of the other 2
Mm-hmm.
at the same time.
did we lose Jeremy?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Jeremy, you said to duck away.
Mm. Yeah.
I guess
I
That's
also
the-
had Fist of Air.
we couldn't necessarily guess what element it was without getting really close or on the tower, right?
You
Right,
had Fist
but
of Air too, don't you, Liam?
From what Calcrix guesses is there's at least 1 tower in between that's safe. So if
Mhm.
you push just 2 towers together, it's not
That
going
does
to do
nothing.
anything. You have to
But
push
you
at
do-
least 3 towers together.
Yeah.
Are we able to calculate if we can actually do that?
You don't know.
I was gonna say, there's no way to actually tell if we could actually do it, but if we do towers 2, 3, and 4, there's a chance it would happen.
Yeah.
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 So, Thunderwave would technically work, but it work as an area thing, and we wouldn't be able to predict which ones did what. Is that correct, Martin?
Well, when you do Thunderwave, you're basically throwing things away from you in all directions.
And the hope would be to throw those out of alignment with that move.
Which could potentially make
You
them
would
all
need
smack
to hit
together.
it that way.
I think I can direct it because it's they can be pushed away from me. So depending on where I position myself,
So if they're like this and you come in this way,
Yeah.
that way,
yeah.
it would force them together.
My other option is
That's the thing, is like even if it works, if they're close enough to hit when you do Thunderwave, to move it close enough to each other. That's the thing. It's like, since this is a large.
Well, the other
Construct.
thought I had was Fist of Air. If two of us have got Fist of Air,
And
we
do
could
you,
cast them simultaneously.
Do either of you have that?
I don't.
Mage hand, basically.
Dang.
Oh,
I
mage
was,
hand.
I was going to say,
I might check my spells. Okay.
I'll see what I've got
Lonnie
in
has
ritual
Fist of
availability.
Fist.
Fist of Fist.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
That's.
I've also got Arcane Hand.
So the difference of
Lonnie
Fist
can
of
hit.
Air is Fist of Air
Big
can
enough to
push
make it
something
move.
5 feet.
I've got
Lonnie can hit it.
Arcane Hand, though.
Lonnie believes she can hit it.
Hand.
Oh, you can definitely hit it.
It'll take her a while, but she
I
can do
can
it.
grease them.
Making it move. You're gonna need a
Lonnie
crowbar.
believes she can make
Get
it
a
move.
crowbar done.
Hey Jeremy, are you back
Maybe
at the
just a
table
couple
now?
minutes. Maybe just a couple.
I'm back in the listening and in the
Stakes in the
vicinity.
ground and they're
Like I'm
doing-
actually just
Stakes.
working with different area right now, so because I wasn't feeling well at all, so there's just different things
I feel you.
in there. But so yes, I am back at the moment.
So what they've been
I've
able
got everything I
to
need.
So what they've been able to figure out is that the through the use of the various characters, that the tower is basically sucking the life force from the land and sending it to the master, which is how you believe that they're able to bring back the dead.
Yep.
Because that's basically what it does. And Calcrix, using information provided from Lucian, who saw that there are 5 supplemental towers with each with their own crystals around the central crystal, that they would each be dedicated to one of the 5 elements, and that if you can connect
That won't work.
competing elements together, it should shut the whole thing down.
Would they technically be elemental vacuums, essentially?
Well, they would basically be power sources in their own right.
Yeah.
Can't stop a Hoover. Okay, gotcha.
The central one would most likely be the Hoover.
Got it. The other ones are die balls.
So the little 5 little ones are feeding into the.
I'm gonna say, I'm guessing just based off what's safe and practical, the middle one most likely is one of the is the entropy representation, and then the other 4 elements are on each side with the opposing forces.
Well, you'd expect the
On the opposite
entropy would
sides.
also be on the outside because
I was going to say, wasn't there 5 towers?
there are
on the
5
outside?
towers on the outside.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is like the entropy would be one of the middle of the 5.
Technically,
possibly.
it is more opposed to air than it is the others.
So,
So
it'd be on
air
the
would be
opposite
over here?
end of.
So, what I was thinking, it would go water, earth, entropy,
See,
fire, air.
I have a very simple
How far away are
representation
these
for you.
towers from each
Oh,
other?
well, yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Ta-da! Magic.
I can't see that.
It's
Useless to me.
It's a magic card.
Yeah, but
On
I
the
don't know
back
what a
of the
magic
card.
card looks like without.
The colours.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that black dot the little finger
Black dot the
and the red
entropy.
dot the thumb? If you're looking at the hand analogy.
Probably.
Or I guess, like, in terms of how the towers themselves are spread out, are they spread outward like a line, or are they spread outward like
Well, there's
ten,
they're
tendrils,
more
like octopus?
mostly they seem to be in a circular thing around the
Okay,
central
so
one.
circular. So it
And
looks
they're
like
somewhat
it looks like a
equidistant
magic
around
card.
We could be overthinking this. I wonder if it's possible for us to actually physically.
So the other thing, Jeremy, I told them was that it's not symmetrical,
Worried about it being dangerous for us to be on the
No, I
ground.
don't think so. Yeah, not symmetrical, but
and they do move.
yeah.
Yeah.
Touching them
But
is
yeah,
probably
so
going to
what
be really
coordinate
bad idea.
distance we're talking about approximately, and obviously it moves around around.
Between 10 and 30 feet between towers.
Depending.
Hmm.
And how tall is the tower?
Each tower is only about 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Right. And do we work out what the towers are made of?
Bone.
Bone, bodies.
That's right, yeah. I do
Yeah,
recall.
they're the. It's still
necromantic.
part of the construct of the central tower.
The whole theme seems to be death.
Yeah.
And the subversion of all the other spheres.
It sounds like it would make a really good heavy metal album cover.
It would.
Especially with the morphic nature of it.
Yeah.
And given what we're about to do with it, it'll look even better.
Okay,
It's
so
gonna be smoke and
Ariadna, from what
flames
you're
everywhere.
saying, the
Big bursts of
arcane
hot
hand would
stuff.
probably work quite well.
Okay. So if Lul and I both cast Arcane Hand, we might be able to shove things enough in the right directions.
I'm not sure Arcane Hand is strong enough, but it
Arcane
might
hand
be.
is a 5th level spell.
Oh,
And
you got
we-
the chunky one.
Yeah.
So Mage Hand is the weak
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Arcane
okay.
Hand is the
Yeah.
Mordenkainen's hand without the Mordenkainen.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's the forceful hand type of thing.
Do
Right.
you have that?
no.
Okay. Can I do it on my own?
You can.
Okay.
Because you can do it
'Cause
from
I can do
120 feet away from the target.
And I can do it with I would use shove. Is that correct?
You could do shove, snatch, smash, or stop, depending on which thing you're trying to do. And be considering it lasts for a minute, you can do lots of different things.
I could technically cast it at level 6.
You could.
So what is it we want to do with these stones again?
Wanted to get two opposing stones to connect.
To connect.
Which means
So
you could technically shove one
Shove.
across.
shove would probably be the most
Yeah. So your
effective
your
way to do that.
idea would be to shove.
Have we managed to
Three
get
of them
estimates of
together.
how heavy these things are likely to be?
Well, they looked to be about the size of a the smaller ones between a small and a medium creature.
I'm a large
okay.
creature.
And the effects of the spell work on things of the size, not of the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh no, that's right. Because because obviously that means that potentially like Lani can push them with the just give it a shove with a push.
Yeah.
We don't want to get that close.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Ah,
like,
okay.
if worst comes to worst, I can definitely, like, physically move it. And 100%, Lonnie 100% believes that she can just move the towers herself through physicality. But I think it's dangerous for us to touch the ground.
And the last bit that Lucius had picked up was that it's created a ley line between the tower and the master's domain.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, ley line sucking out.
So where are we currently right now? Are we still flying above?
This is as you're flying towards it, because luckily Lucius was able to give it a good eyeball.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
before we got
Lani
close.
was going up and down too much and enjoying the ride, but not very good at seeing things.
Right.
But thankfully
okay.
we had sending stones, so we've communicated what we need between each other.
Mhm.
Yes.
You are for expeditious reasons, you are flying along me because otherwise you wouldn't have this information.
Also,
That's right,
technically, the
the
flight.
fact that I can turn into a raven, but I can't actually talk there.
No. Well, apparently you can
Ravens
talk
can
and
do
understand,
mimic
but
sounds.
Martin says you couldn't carry the sending stone, so
Yeah.
it makes
But
it more convenient.
You 100% could be sitting on, like, my
Oh.
or Lucius'
It's not
shoulder
like
as we
it's
go.
not like I take up that much weight or head
No.
if I'm in a raven form. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and especially because, like, the flight would technically take 35 minutes to get over there, so we definitely have enough time to discuss this as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys think that our best go is to just get close to the tower and see what Calcrix can do before we decide to land or do anything else?
I can give it at least one go at 6th level, and that leaves me with another go if we
Well,
wanted it 5th.
Technically, you don't
Yeah.
have to do it at 6th level. All it does is increase the damage you do if you're trying to damage it.
Oh, okay.
Which-
so
So,
two.
5th level is the same as 6th level
Yeah.
for your purposes.
So,
Yep.
5th would be better.
And how long does it last for?
It lasts for a minute, so she can actually do quite a few actions with it.
That's right. You can give it a few attempts. with the first spell anyway.
And so what I'm going to say is Calcrix gets to make a strength saving throw
D20.
with advantage, which means she rolls twice
Definitely not that one.
and adds her strength saving throw to it.
17. What's my strength? It is. Do saving throw strengths.
So if you've got strength as one of your saving throws,
Yes.
then you add your proficiency bonus of 4
Yep.
plus your strength bonus.
4, so 8. So 17 plus 8 is. Somebody add that up for me.
Is
25.
Thanks.
25. Okay. So Calcrix seems to be able to, with a shelf of draconic claw, I'm assuming is what you make appear.
Yes.
Bigger, almost as big as the tower.
Mm.
You see the crystal go flying out of the tower.
Shit.
Basically, the tower wasn't built to withstand that sort of thing.
It's not very
Is someone
fun.
looking to see where that crystal's going?
I believe you're shoving it towards the other one
Okay.
because you've been told what to do.
Yep.
And I'll give you a attack roll with the crystal against the other crystal. So you get to add your dexterity bonus.
Can I use my luck of chaos to roll again?
Yes, you can.
Dice Jeff. Oh, that's better. Sorry, what was the roll?
You add your
An attack roll?
Yeah, dexterity bonus to it.
Dexterity plus 6. That's 20 non-natural.
20 non-natural is a very good attack roll considering you're not skilled at tossing crystals at other crystals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the crystal probably
Thank
aren't
God for
too
Lucky
much,
Chaos.
but anyway, she might be all that powerful.
So Lack of Chaos came with you considering this is a building dedicated to chaos,
Very nice. Very handy.
which is why it's metamorphic.
Oh, well, there you go.
As you see strike the other crystal, there is a ear-shattering bang. Everyone gets to make a Constitution saving throw.
Whee!
Right.
Oh, this.
Yeah,
14 plus 6, 20 non-natural.
20 non-natural. It's pretty good.
21.
Natural one.
Sub
No.
10. Not natural one.
As far as Lowell's concerned, everything's gone quiet.
It got very loud and really quiet.
Human need
Something's
your
ringing.
hearing fixed. Here, look, I just happen to have this pre-prepared. Picked it up today.
How did you go, Jeremy?
I thought my brain was just doing weird stuff
normal
again.
Stats, he'd have a 12.
I say rather
But not
too
the-
loudly
the
because I
Raven
haven't got my own
form has
volume.
A change in his normal,
We'll keep it the same at this
Okay.
stage to simplify it.
make it easy. Yeah, 12 then.
Okay, so you also don't seem to hear much at this point. As you see, everything in front of you just seemed to fold into itself.
We're talking Mordor, everything falls and...
Well, more like
Kinda-
Ant-Man and everything.
Okay, that works.
Gonna say like how most like implosions.
Yeah,
happen.
an implosion.
Just
It basically creates an
in itself.
implosion because you broke the
The circle.
circle, yes.
Yep.
Not something that wizards like to do very often
They're not fans of that typically.
because it generally takes in what's around it.
They're-
And basically you see fanning out around it, everything start falling over.
Do I see
Oh.
where these crystals landed?
They basically all shattered.
Shattered? Okay. I just...
Including the central one?
Including the central one,
Central
because it
one?
was
Yeah.
powered by the others.
Okay.
Ah,
So it's shattered.
It's not easy to actually wrench them free.
That's pretty cool.
So it's smoking and falling apart.
The whole castle just seems to merge into itself until it doesn't exist anymore.
So rather than explosion, it all just came in and then just
Cool.
disintegrated.
better
And you
than
see
explosion.
all the armies start falling over at that point.
I think we've just pissed off somebody major.
All done
Yeah,
silently.
master.
Yeah. Yeah, all silent.
And from Luell's point of view, this is like a silent movie.
Exactly.
I'm watching with fascination.
I was gonna say this is when you start imagining like some orchestral song in your head because you can't hear anymore, so you're just like.
I could sing it.
Could be like tinnitus. You just got this
I could-
weird ringing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it possibly is, but it's... Well, given it's a loud noise, there may be a ringing, but I can't hear it yet.
Yeah, it hasn't
Cool.
returned.
Unrelated
It's part
side
of-
bit is
it's
they
part
can
of the
make my
inverted
hearing
effect
aid
of
create
the
white
explosion.
noise that counts my
The
temperature.
sound was coming first, like the sound disappeared first, then the light will disappear.
Yeah, possibly.
And
But-
when it finishes, you just see a crackling purple rip in space where it disappeared.
Can I have a quick look back
Don't
towards
touch
our
it.
side? Do they
I
look
can
okay?
check to see if we can do something.
They seem to be okay, but
Yes.
there doesn't seem to be any undead between you and your
That's,
tower anymore.
that's fine, just as long as,
Is there another one of
our
these
people
towers?
are okay.
This is the only one you saw out this side. It's the first one you've seen.
This is good information to have.
I
The
can
problem
check
is the
to
towers are
or
normally on
history
the other
check to
side.
work
We
out
can't
if
get to them.
there's something we can do about this to
But
get
we
rid
know
of it.
what to target now.
Because they
we
might be
know
able to reuse
that
it for something.
when we're strategizing these
The
things,
hole?
we want to.
The whole.
The whole you
Figure out.
think from
And the master
what you
might
heard
adapt
previously
as well, so we
may
don't have
be
to think
the
about that as well.
endpoint of the ley line.
Someone doesn't stay in business as long as he does if he doesn't know how to adapt.
Is there anything we can do about that?
You've
Well-
not dabbled in closing ley lines before. It's
I-
considered
well,
a risky
I-
process.
I was thinking just earlier about ley lines would be interesting to learn about.
Well,
Actually,
what we
considering the
more-
great
what we more
trees, I'm going to
likely
need to.
Closing the ley line would be seeing you poison the ley line.
It will most
Yeah.
likely
Because the ley
close.
line going directly to the master.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's as I said, it's good information to have.
Yeah, put life and reasonable thinking and so on into the end of it. That'll poison it for him.
You'd most likely think the energy that it converts it to will probably be not what it wants.
Jeremy, do you know if you can
There is
poison a
between-
ley line?
Entropy
I
would
have
probably,
got no idea
negative energy
what
would
I
probably
mean.
be more toxic
Yeah.
to it than anything
But
else.
there you go. It's just that sudden thought.
Because it
Oh,
converts everything to negative energy.
It might be.
So feeding it
you can
negative
prove that
energy.
you've got the source.
How much would be
Um,
needed?
It's
You're
a
not
valuable thought.
Probably
Something
more
I
than
think
me
we should
shooting
hold
it.
on
But
to
you'd
for
think
next
it'd also
session.
starve itself over
Yeah.
time.
That's
Lonnie
also true.
will yell out in excitement and say, "You did it! Calcrix, I dubbed thee Calcrix, destroyer of ley lines,
Slayer
Oh,
of towers.
slayer of towers."
Slayer of
Um,
necromantic towers.
It's there.
Yep, okay, cool. Slayer of Towers.
The Tower Bane. You want a
That
single
ta-
word?
I was
It
going to
is
say
also-
Tower Bane would be
A little bit better
Yes,
than
you want a single word.
I'll get it.
little better than a donkey going against some windmills.
A donkey going against some windmills?
A Don Quixote. from the-
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
No,
Took me a
so
while.
yeah, no. So you are now. I dubbed thee Calcrix, slayer of towers and closer of ley lines.
I like this.
Yes.
I need to get my own little scroll thing
Scroll
going.
sheet.
Yep.
So you think you put a major cramp in the master's plans
Good.
as you are to return back to your tower.
He might be.
We
a
need to
little
find. We need to
mad.
find another one, which is going to be about 5 tons as well defended.
And he probably
Yeah.
won't be sending another one here for a while because he's running to the end of the seasons he can operate in.
Oh, okay.
So there might be a quiet period while we figure out other ways.
He's
to...
unable to operate through summer.
But it is going
Makes
Of
sense.
course.
Sending
Yeah.
a message,
Yeah.
sending a message up to the elves
Mm.
on the other side of the lake to
Yep.
let them know that hey, if you come across this sort of effect, or
Destroy
this
the
thing,
Do this with it.
I presume Drazzle has sketched this tower, so this sketch could be sent along to various military peoples. You know, if they
And then-
spot this tower, there is a way to deal with it.
Hopefully, yeah. Depending on where everybody.
If you've got someone with
Else
arcane
is.
hand.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
seem to work
I'm
with
not certain that a sketch could be all that effective, considering the fact that it looks different for 5 minutes for the next 5 minutes. So
We can sketch out what it looked like before we did. Well,
and then a
it's sort of-
description.
if you see this pattern of things
Yeah.
Take
made
this.
of this,
Sparky
Exactly.
rocks don't like
Do
each other.
this with
Put
it.
them
Mm.
together.
yeah.
You'll see 5 towers like this. They'll all have crystals on top. They'll be moving.
how big was the crystal on top?
The central crystal looks to be about 10 to 15 feet in height.
Right. So
and the little
and-
one,
Little ones
The
were
electric
about
crystal?
five to
Yeah.
8 feet in
5 to
height.
8 feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
So what you need-
It's certainly too big for mage hand.
yeah, but you need
Arcane
arcane hand, which is the big
Arcane
doggy,
hand worked well.
and
Yeah.
either that or a barbarian with really good con saves.
Mm.
But the
Why do
point
I
was
feel
that
like Lani
we discovered the
is
fact
having
that we didn't need to shift
Become
the
towers
entire
bang
tower.
as well.
It was merely trying to
Pick one up and throw it at the other
The
one.
crystal was the key.
Yeah.
And you believe the tower had been grown around the crystal, not the crystal placed in the
move the
tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really important to know as well.
Which is why you're able to
The point
dislodge
is,
it.
It's more
if
long.
the crystal was only a few feet across,
Yeah.
then potentially telekinesis is also within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, we did consider that while you were away.
Yeah.
It's one of the first questions Lul asked was no,
But I mean,
somebody
but
asked.
those-
Already.
when we were thinking we were moving the entire tower, telekinesis was
That's
out
what
of
I've been
question.
using.
Yeah,
early on.
yeah,
But we
definitely.
know
That's
they're going to
why.
move the
That's why.
crystal.
Especially
Yeah.
because
And until Kalkrix had done it, you didn't know you could just move the crystal.
Exactly, that's right.
And the problem is our main arcane caster is a sorceress, so we have limited and set spell
Spells,
slots.
yeah.
But at least you
But
can
the
keep
point is
casting
that
those spells.
It's knowledge for
I
other
can cast
forces as well.
Yeah.
That
Because of
the
I don't have those spells, so yeah. I
We don't have those
specialise in
access,
myself
but
in
others
advantage.
Probably
ones I
not,
get in LA.
not useful elsewhere.
So you have
Especially for them.
successfully held the Master at
Secret
bay
craft.
for this
Woo!
season.
We
So
did it!
So like a wizard,
See,
you
we
need to
stuck
see
together.
spells downtime
We
within
figured it
spells.
out.
And so next session you will pick up some other stories away from the war.
Yay!
we get a break for the war.
So it
For
took you
5
two,
minutes.
took you just over 2 months to get a break.
But we're
Not
giving them a
bad.
break.
Yeah.
I'm happy to
I
have a
mean,
break.
potentially we could have screwed this up.
Oh, does that mean we're going into
That's
Greece
true.
now? Summer, love, so fast.
Well, summer is
Oh.
the one of the weakest points for the Master.
That's why I was making the joke.
Guess what?
We can all have a summer holiday.
This is what I've got from downtime so far.
That's a different movie, isn't it?
Considering intonations of that particular song.
Yeah. What are the intonations of
Reputation.
we're all having
I'll probably
a
don't
summer
want to do it
holiday?
while we're recording.
Oh no, not that one. The summer
First
loving
column's
one.
already.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Of course
Okay,
it's
so Jeremy, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeremy.
No problem. Thank you very much. Go out
Jeremy,
and
do you
enjoy
have
the
2
time away.
seconds after we finish for me to ask you a quick question?
I can hang around a bit. Hang
Yeah.
around.
It won't be long, I
yeah.
I'll put it
promise.
on end credits and then you
many
can chat.
languages.